Welcome to RFK Stadium here in Washington, D.C. for today's NFC East Division battle between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Brown. Well, the Redskins-Cowboys rivalry certainly lacks the hype and hysteria of years past, but make one thing clear, Washington still hates Dallas, and that's due in part to the fact that Dallas's only victory last year came right here at RFK. I'm pleased to be working this season with ex-San Francisco 49er Randy Cross and Randy Washington. 14-point favorites coming into today's game. You think a chance of being too confident?
I don't think so. You know, part of head coach Joe Gibbs' real plan from the beginning of the season is to instill confidence in the Redskins. He wants to get off to a 3-1 start before this break. And number one guy in his list for confidence, quarterback Mark Rypien. He's been getting blasted in the papers. He's got to play better. Speaking of confidence, middle linebacker Eugene Lockhart for the Dallas Cowboys is very confident of a Dallas win. So we're going to have a wild party today. We got Emmitt Smith and Alonzo Highsmith starting in the backfield.
And we're underway here on doubleheader Sunday on CBS. James Dixon decides not to take it out of the end zone. Touchback, so Dallas, having won the coin toss, will start 1st and 10 from its own 20. And Troy Aikman, second-year quarterback out of UCLA at the helm. Strong arm, feeling much more confident with the offense this year. And the offensive front doing the protecting at tackles, 2-8. And Nate Newton, the guards, John Giesick and Tony Slayton at center, Mark Stepnoski, and tight end Rob Awalt in for the injured Jay Novacek. Backs and receivers, Emmitt Smith, Alonzo Highsmith, first time together in the backfield, Kelvin Martin and Dennis McKinnon, the wide receivers. From the 20, just underway here at RFK, the Cowboys. And Aikman back to pass. Going up top, looking for Alexander Wright, and it's incomplete. So Aikman trying to get the rookie out of Auburn into the offense early, defended well by Martin Mayhew. And the defense of the Washington Redskins up front, the ends, Charles Mann and Marcus Cook. The tackles, Tracy Rocker and Daryl Grant. Linebackers, Andre Collins, Greg Minuski, and Wilbur Marshall on the right-hand side. And the secondary, burned last week by San Francisco, Martin Mayhew and Daryl Green. The safeties, Alvin Walton and Todd Bowles. 2nd and 10. Long count by Aikman. This is Smith. Wrapped up. Smashed in the backfield. Give the credit to Tracy Rocker. Second-year player out of Auburn. And Darrell Walker. Daryl Grant said he was really pleased with the kind of development that Rocker is showing.
Exactly. He blasted right by Tony Slayton, number 65, the right guard there. And running the ball is very important for Dallas. They've got Emmitt Smith, their number one pick, and Alonzo Highsmith, like I mentioned earlier. But they're not only key to the running game, they're also key to the passing game. They've got to be comfortable enough to pick up the blitzes. And Washington will blitz Dallas today. They did it on the first play and expect it here on 3rd down.
3rd and 13, dime defensive package in for the Skins, 6 defensive backs. Aikman under pressure, wrapped up and dropped. Leading the way, Wilbur Marshall. So Washington getting some pressure that they've been criticized about not having.
Now you're going to have Wilbur Marshall's going to be coming in from this area on the left-hand side, and they are going to blitz Troy Aikman. Unbelievable. 3rd play, 58 from the left, right there. Wilbur Marshall. Aikman never has a chance. The backs are not comfortable with this offense. They have to pick up that blitz.
Mike Saxon on to punt for the Cowboys. Walter Stanley back for the Skins, and he takes it at the 44. They call him Mr. Excitement. And Mr. Excitement driven back by Vincent Smith. So the Redskins will get their first opportunity after a 47-yard punt, a 5-yard return by Walter Stanley. Mark Rypien roasted this week in the newspapers here in Washington for his poor performance against the 49ers last week. Looking to make amends. Says he can handle it. The offensive front, Lachey, Grimm, Bostic, Schlereth, Ed Simmons, and Don Warren at tight end. Backs and receivers, Biner, the H-back, and the posse, Art Monk, Ricky Sanders, and Gary Clark. This is Biner. And Biner running ahead for about a 4-yard gain. Stopped by Jack Del Rio. Dallas defense looking to step up to the task today, as you heard Randy Cross talk about. Ends, Daniel Stubbs, Jim Jeffcoat, the tackles, Dean Hamill and Danny Noonan. The linebacking core, Jack Del Rio and Ken Norton, and Eugene Lockhart, coming off of an all-pro season last year. The secondary, Manny Hendricks and Williams, the cornerbacks. Safeties, Horton and Albritton. 2nd and 6. Don Warren to the near side. Rypien throws it low, intended receiver Art Monk, and part of the problems that Rypien had last week evidenced there.
Well, taking an early gamble, Dallas decides to blitz Mark Rypien and get in his face and get a little pressure on him. Not a bad idea for that. And head coach Joe Gibbs told us Friday when we talked to him, you know, Mark needs to settle down. He needs to get in a groove. It's not fair. People refer to Mark Rypien as a guy, he only has to play good. He doesn't have to play great. I mean, what's that to aspire to? I just want to be average? This guy wants to be the best he can be.
On 3rd and 6. 6 DBs in for the Cowboys. Skins ball at the 42. Sanders in motion. Rypien with time. Complete to Kelvin Martin, and there's a flag on the play. Make that Kelvin Bryant near the first down marker. And Bryant was complaining last week, wide open a number of times, not thrown at, and the preliminary signal is against Washington.
Well, lots of receivers and backs claim they're open every play. The unusual thing is he was wide open last week.
Holding, 69, offense. 10 yards, 3rd down.
First bit of housekeeping today for the referee, Bob McElway. This will bring up a 3rd and 16 for the Skins. Ball moved back.
Schillereth is right there, 69, right guard, going against Dean Hamill, number 78, former Redskin. Hay takes a little takedown there. Hamill's a little fired up. This is his first game back at RFK. He's a longtime Redskin.
3rd and 16, ball at the 48 of Washington. Sanders in motion. Rypien with time. Throws it in and out of the hands of Ricky Sanders. So Sanders, who was near the first down marker, can't hold it.
That was a good gutsy job. Good gutsy job by Rypien right there. Stood up, took a blast. A little stumble right there by Sanders, but he should have had that ball. There's no doubt. They're extremely lucky that was not an interception.
And he'll tell you that. Ralph Morgienko, nicknamed Mojo, we'll call him that. Punting back deep for Dallas, Dennis McKinnon. And McKinnon signaling for the fair catch at the 9. So Dallas will get its second opportunity to go at it. 43-yard punt. No score. We'll be back in just a moment. Tight quarters, but good sight lines here at RFK for myself and Randy Cross. But Randy, Steve Walsh, a lot of talk again that the trade is in fact going to happen, him down to New Orleans. Do you think that affected the Dallas Cowboys' preparation this week at all?
I don't think it did at all, James. I mean, it would be a great thing for Walsh to get to New Orleans, but the rest of the team, that's completely out of their minds. What they're concentrating on is on the offensive side, they have 4 of 11 new starters. They've got to learn that offense. And on the defensive side, they've got to learn how to stop the Washington Redskins.
Back to live action, 1st and 10 for the Cowboys. Ball at their own 10. Aikman throws it complete. Give the credit to Rob Awalt, who's in for the injured Jay Novacek, who suffered a shoulder problem last week. Awalt, a teammate of Novacek with the Phoenix Cardinals.
And the tough thing for Novacek, when he got that shoulder banged up on the same play, he got his head a little dinged up. The next play is an attempted field goal. He gets a snap right in his hands, and he didn't know which ball to catch. Obviously, he was seeing more than one ball. He dropped it, and they botched a field goal attempt early.
An 11-yard pickup, good for the first down. This is 1st and 10. And Alonzo Highsmith getting his first start with the Cowboys. Came to the team on September the 3rd. Many questioned whether or not he was really healthy. Jimmy Johnson said that's not the problem. Highsmith said, I want to play.
Exactly. All they want to talk about is Alonzo Highsmith's knee. He's been scoped 5 times. He's got a little limp in his gait. Jimmy Johnson says that's not from his knee. He sprained his arch a couple weeks ago. And there's Jimmy Johnson with his hand on Alonzo.
As you mentioned, 5 knee operations on the same knee for Alonzo Highsmith.
But they are scopes. They are not regular operations.
2nd and 3. This is Daryl Johnston, the fullback. Johnston has the first down. Pulling hard to the right side, so Daryl Johnston, the second-year fullback out of Syracuse. Big, strong, and intelligent back.
Now, what kind of a blocker is a #1 draft pick out of Florida? Watch number 22 come into your screen, Emmitt Smith. You can't see it there, but a great block leading the way for Johnston, number 48. This is the kind of thing Dallas really wants to do. They have to establish the run. And with big Nate Newton, number 61, at the right tackle at 318 pounds. Here you go, right there. Great block that time on Andre Collins, number 55, by Emmitt Smith.
Smith, the deep back, on 1st and 10 from the 36 of Dallas. Play action. Aikman under pressure from Daryl Grant. Throws it incomplete. And tight coverage by the Skins secondary. Intended receiver was Kelvin Martin. Daryl Green right there.
That's something Troy Aikman does not want to do, and Jimmy Johnson doesn't want to see him do it, is get out there and have to start running around. You know, Coach Johnson told us yesterday, Troy does his best when he's back there. He can get a good look at the offense. He's much more comfortable now. It's automatic. Last year, he says he's walking the line of scrimmage. He's going, who do I check off to? Who's hot? Who isn't? What coverage is it in? Now Troy Aikman is very comfortable with this offense.
2nd and 10. Aikman quick to Rob Awalt. And Awalt to the left side. A late flag on the play.
There was some early movement just before the snap, James.
And it'll go against Washington. So take a look at Jimmy Johnson, often teased about having his hair always perfectly in place. Looks like he's thinking only football today.
He and owner Jerry Jones are willing to do anything to get these guys winning. You know, both Coach Jones and Jimmy Johnson told us yesterday, hey, we could get guys in there right now and we could win games if we wanted a quick fix. If we wanted a quick fix, they said, we could win games. We're looking long term. We're looking down the road. We want to build a winner. And when you look at the draft choices and the players, they're beginning to stockpile. Theirs is going to be an impressive team 2-3 years down the road.
Seems like a decent long-term game plan. 2nd and 5 for the Cowboys. Marcus Cook out at right end for the Skins. Raven Caldwell in. Aikman audibly at the line. Throws it complete to Awalt. And Awalt has enough for the first down. Tackled by Alvin Walton. So a 7-yard pickup on that pass play from Aikman to Awalt. Awalt, an excellent receiver when he was with Phoenix. Surprising that he was even let go.
There's Awalt, the end man, number 89. He'll just run a little flare pattern right there, wide open. They're going to make Alvin Walton tackle him one-on-one. He just does drag him down. But Troy Aikman said yesterday, we're going to throw to our tight end a lot, and we're going to do it often.
1st and 10, ball at the 48 of Dallas. Cowboys marching. And a mix-up on the play. Flag on the play. And Alonzo Highsmith and Aikman. Miscommunication there, and the Cowboys said we expect to see some mental errors from Highsmith because he hasn't been here long enough to get comfortable with the system.
It's going to be tough for Alonzo Highsmith, number 32 there in the screen. For a while, they're going to run into each other for a game or two, and there's obviously going to be a face mask penalty on Troy Aikman as he kind of stumbled and bumbled around after missing that handoff. But, you know, Troy's kind of a hard target to not.
5-yard face mask foul, 74 defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down, first down.
And that's on Marcus Cook, 5th-year player out of Boise State. First and 5. The backs, the Smith brothers, Emmett and Alonzo, no relation. Alonzo gets a second chance. Doesn't go very far. Combination of Wilbur Marshall and Marcus Cook on the stop.
Well, the Cowboys are dedicated to running the ball today, and they could have picked a better defense to try to run the ball against. Washington has always been traditionally a tough run defense. You look at the inside they used to have with Dave Butts and Neil Okowitz and Daryl Grant. Nobody ran in there. Now, what everybody used to love to do against Washington is throw the ball. Teams like to throw against the Washington Redskins because they almost become resigned to the fact that you can't run on them.
Third week of the season, Skins 28th in the league last against the pass. 2nd and 5, no gain on the last play. 3 wideouts in for Dallas, and Daryl Grant up early. We'll see whether or not he was pulled offside or not.
'67 offense.
And that goes against John Giesick, 4th-year player out of Cal State, Sacramento.
Number 67, just to the right of the quarterback right there. Recently acquired from the LA Raiders. Don't you love that when that happens? You see the defensive guy move, and all of a sudden the offensive lineman, he's so pumped up. He's getting his first start. He's going to whack the guy, and all of a sudden he looks around, hey, nobody else moved. What am I doing?
Daryl Grant, 6'1", 275, looking light on his feet. 2nd and 10. Aikman throws it incomplete. The intended receiver, Jay Novacek. Novacek, as we mentioned, suffered a sprained left shoulder against the Giants. Jimmy Johnson was hoping not to have to use him too often.
And this is the situation Dallas wants to stay out of it at all costs if they can avoid it, and that is long 3rd down, because Washington will bring those 4 big guys up front, and at least the nickel linebacker is going to blitz, or a strong safety.
Wayne Davis in as a defensive back for the Washington Redskins, picked up this week. One of the last cuts to replace the injured Clarence Vaughn. 3rd and 10. 6 defensive backs for Washington. Incomplete. Intended receiver was Dennis McKinnon and Martin Mayhew. Excellent job on the coverage. So Martin Mayhew, who had been burned last week by John Taylor, looking to make amends.
Exactly, and here's Mayhew, number 35, going against McKinnon, number 85. Great anticipation. McKinnon breaks behind him, and Mayhew just maintains his position inside the receiver at all times.
Little technique that time, huh? Last week he said he just went out, no particular technique in mind, just wanted to cover him.
Looked like schoolyard cornerback last week.
Mike Saxon on to punt for Dallas. Walter Stanley back for the Skins. Saxon gets a decent one away, and Stanley has to call signal for the fair catch. Now there is a flag on the play as Stanley takes it just inside the 10, a 43-yard punt, no return. And this will go against Dallas. And Randy, I guess the coaching question, do you make him re-kick or what?
Illegal man downfield.
I think you gotta let that punter get one more chance at kicking it. How often is Saxon going to hit a kick like that? I'm not really too sure.
So Mike Saxon will re-kick it. Walter Stanley chomping at the bit. Show the Skins fans what he can do. It's a little short. And this one will run out of bounds at about the 14-yard line. So Washington will take over at about its own 14. The owner of the Washington Redskins, Jack Kent Cooke, who always has an impressive array of guests in his private booth, including the governor of Virginia, Douglas Wilder. Right now they're looking at a scoreless ball game, 7:24 remaining in the first quarter. Washington 1st and 10 from its own 14. 3 wideouts in for the Skins. Art Monk to the near side. Bynum. Just across the 20. Call it a 7-yard run. And Joe Gibbs talked glowingly about Ernest Bynum.
Exactly, and that's what Bynum does best. He runs north and south. It's the kind of thing the Washington Redskins want to have a run like that be successful. That's not a bread and butter run for them. The bread and butter play is their counter, where they're pulling that guard and tackle on the backside.
2nd and 3. Ball marked at the 21. Monk to the near side again. Biner, the lone back. Rypien. Complete up near the 25-yard line to Ricky Sanders. Looked to be just shy of the first down marker. We'll see where they spot it. And the spot is a good one, enough for the first down. So Washington picks up the first down on that Rypien to Sanders pass.
And the Washington game plan to this point seems to be tailored towards giving Mark Rypien some confidence. The shorter type of intermediate passes, let him pop it in there, let him get it to the posse members, Clark, Sanders, and Monk, and let them make the yards once they catch it.
2 of the posse members out, Gary Clark and Art Monk. Jimmy Johnson and Ron Middleton in. Dallas leads this series 33-25-2. 60 games overall. That includes playoffs. And a double reverse. Here comes Sanders. A lot of razzle-dazzle for only 3 yards on the play.
And truth be known, Washington is extremely lucky they didn't lose yardage here. Watch Russ Grimm, the left guard. Number 68 is going to come out here, and he's going to try to go against Jim Jeffcoat. Here's a handoff to Sanders, 83. What you can't see is Mark Rypien, the quarterback, and Grimm, 68, are out there trying to block on Jeffcoat, who just comes into the screen there. Anytime you get a reverse, you want to gain at least 4 yards on a reverse. Then it's successful. Then the defense has to account for it later.
Instead of putting you in a 2nd and 7 situation, ball marked at the 28 of Washington. 5:19 remaining in the first. No score. Rypien throws it to Biner. And Biner eludes 1 tackle and hustles up within about 2.5 yards of the first down mark, or a 4-yard gain.
Well, the things that made Biner a real tough guy to bring down in Cleveland for many years still hold here in Washington, and they really love to flip this ball out to Biner. Now watch what makes him tough. Watch his first hit. Goes right through it, spins out. You cannot tackle a back like this with 1 guy. You also cannot tackle a back like Biner with your arms. You've got to drive your legs through the running back.
That was Ken Norton missing on the tackle. 3rd and 3. Rypien across the middle, complete to Sanders. And Sanders for the first down, plus a whole lot. A 15-yard pass play from Rypien to Sanders, and Rypien said he will look for a lot of the underneath stuff this week versus trying to go long.
Well, everybody talks about Gary Clark, number 84, being the tough guy inside. I don't see where any of these receivers for Washington aren't extremely tough. They don't mind going inside, and Sanders, number 83, doesn't mind it either. He gets hit 2 or 3 times, and then number 20, Horton, comes in and lays a good whack on him in the upper body.
1st and 10. This is Biner. Biner wrapped up at the ankles. And a loss of 1 on the play. Give the credit to Dean Hamill, the ex-Redskin, nicknamed the Tasmanian Devil, and actually is playing with a slightly pulled right groin muscle, but said he wanted to play today.
Well, it's not too cold here, and cold weather hurts pulled muscles. He is home, so he's excited. This guy wasn't going to let a little pulled muscle keep him out of this game. He's got some friends and family in this stadium saying, well, see, Dean could still play. He should still be here.
2nd and 11. 3 wideouts in for the Skins. Clark to the near side. Sanders in motion. Sanders handed off. He's got the first down. Joe Jacoby leading the charge, pushing people out of the way, accounting for that 12-yard gain by Ricky Sanders.
One of the things this offense allows is you can pull your guards. Here we've got Schlereth, the right guard, and Grimm, the left guard, and you can lead them on a sweep. Who's the running back? You've only got 1 back, and there is Biner on the left. The running back's going to be Sanders, number 83, coming out of the right corner of your screen. Great classic 2-guard sweep. You're not utilizing a running back, but you have a receiver who can act as that 2nd running back.
1st and 10, ball at the 42 of Dallas. Rip with plenty of time, complete to Sanders. Inside the 20 for the first down. "23 yards picked up on a play stop by Ray Horton.
The Cowboys started out the first series, they blitzed Rypien. Now they're not blitzing him, they're coming after him with the 4 linemen, and those guys aren't getting close. Sanders settles down into a hole, and from here on, it's his athletic ability to try to avoid as many tackles as possible, and Horton brings him down.
Ball at the 19 of Dallas, 1st and 10, 1:50 remaining in the first quarter. No score. Johnson in motion. This is Bynum. No room to the right, so he scoots ahead back to the line of scrimmage.
One thing that's very interesting about the Washington Redskins offense is you talk to the defensive teams they play against, like Eugene Lockhart, the middle linebacker, and Billy Bates, the safety. They say, look, you follow number 85, Don Warren, and that's where the running play is going to go. That time, Don Warren's lined up as the right tight end. Sure enough, Jimmy Johnson goes in motion to the right, number 88. They run right behind Don Warren.
They study film, too. 2nd and 10. Rip with time. Batted down. Gary Clark wide open across the middle at the 15, frustrated. But Dean Hamill got a hand on that play.
That's an extremely frustrating play for not only the quarterback, but also the offensive line. In that instance, Rypien was standing back there all by himself. There wasn't a defensive lineman within 5 yards of him. The offensive line is doing a great job of pass blocking. Guy's getting stuffed on the line, happens to jump up, bats down a pass. It's as good as a guy being right in the quarterback's face.
3rd and 10. Kelvin Bryant into the game. Sanders in motion. Rip to the left. Throws it complete to Art Monk, and he loses the ball. Is it live? Incomplete. So Art Monk, who had enough for the first down yardage, loses control as Robert Williams wraps him up.
Here's the very end of Monk, 81, and Williams, number 23. Little holding, little grabbing. The ball goes down low. That's very uncharacteristic for Art Monk, number 81, to drop a pass that hits him squarely in the chest.
So Chip Lohmiller comes on, third-year player out of Minnesota, to attempt a 37-yard field goal. It's up. And it's good. So Chip Lohmiller, 23 consecutive games with the field goal, puts the Skins on the board first. They lead it by 3. A gorgeous autumn afternoon here at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. First quarter action. Skins, by virtue of that Chip Lohmiller 37-yarder, lead it 3-0. 58 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and Lohmiller boots it in the direction of James Dixon. And out of play, touchback. So the Cowboys will take it at their own 20 with 52 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Chip Lohmiller, only in his 3rd season out of Minnesota, but one of the most accurate feet around.
And he's in some pretty high company right there, led by Fred Cox and Jim Turner. And he's a guy that Joe Gibbs never really hesitates to put in from anywhere from about 48 yards in. But from the Dallas standpoint, it's good to make a team that's better than you, like the Washington Redskins, settle for field goals. It keeps Dallas in the game if they're not getting 6.
1st and 10. Emmitt Smith and Alonzo Highsmith in the backfield. Highsmith in the H-back position. This is Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt Smith shaking and baking his way up near the 24-yard line. Call it a pickup of 4. Speaking of shake and bake, we asked him what style of run would he describe his style. He says it is shake and bake.
Yeah, he likes to shake it, he likes to bake it. He says, I get my biggest pleasure out of making people miss, really making them look silly in front of a lot of people. The one thing he's got to remember, this isn't the University of Florida. This is not the Southeast Conference. He had best go north and south. There's some big guys out there that will tattoo him.
And veteran Jim Jeffcoat reminded him of that. On 2nd down, Aikman has it batted down. Looked to be the hand of Marcus Cook or Kurt Gouveia. We're in the vicinity.
And Washington's got an interesting situation there at middle linebacker with Greg Minuski and Kurt Gouveia. I mean, Minuski plays the runs. Gouveia comes in and plays the pass. There's about a 20-pound difference between the two.
Brings up a 3rd and 6 for Dallas with 12 seconds remaining in quarter number 1. Cowboys trailing by 3. Nickel defensive package in for Washington, 5 DBs. Emmitt Smith, the deep back. Emmitt Smith, the ball carrier. And Emmitt Smith with the first down. +7. And flags on the play. Looked to be a face mask on the Dallas sideline over there. So Emmitt Smith showing a bit of his shake and bake moves.
Not much shake and bake, James, but a lot of speed. Emmitt Smith is moving. You'll see him, number 22, move to the right of your screen. This is just speed, folks. This is just speed. Andre Collins gets stumbled right here. Here comes the face mask. Edwards, number 27. Well, if you're going to do it, you might as well make it a good one, and that was a good one. That didn't look like there was much intent lacking.
Brad Edwards, third-year player out of South Carolina.
On the sideline there and go, but darn it, that's all there was to grab. He was moving so fast. All I saw was that white face mask, so I grabbed it.
Jim Hannafin, one of the more colorful characters around the NFL, working with the offensive line. And Dallas will not get another playoff. That's the end of the first quarter with the score: Washington 3, Dallas nothing. Start of the second quarter here in the nation's capital. Washington and Dallas doing battle. And one of the real concerns that Jimmy Johnson had coming into today's contest is that he had 4 players who would be starting today who did not have the benefit of training camp in Austin.
And most people say, who needs Austin? Their training camp this year was in Austin, Texas. 4 starters. How well can these guys really know this offense?
Ball at the 48 of Washington. Dallas on the ground. Emmitt Smith for about 3 yards on the play. Dallas playing conservatively right now. Take a look at some early scores from around the NFL. Will bring up a 2nd and 7 for Dallas.
Sam Wyche's Cincinnati no-huddle offense, obviously a no-nonsense offense also.
Out of the pro set. Play action. Aikman running it. And runs out of bounds. Shy of the first down marker. Marcus Cook chased him out of bounds.
That wasn't a very pretty play by Troy Aikman, number 8 there, but now the Washington offense has to be concerned with him bootlegging the ball out. Good play action. He bootlegged out. From now on, the Washington defense has to keep one person back there to keep an eye on Troy Aikman. He's not going to kill you running the ball, but it takes one less person to be able to flow onside.
Aikman's run brings up a 3rd and 2 situation. And Charles Mann is in the backfield before the snap. Flags on the play. We'll see if he was pulled offside. I don't know if Nate Newton looked like he might have moved. And Nate Newton is one big target to key on as far as moves. 6'3", 318, svelte 318.
Well, you talk about good moves. Charles Mann's got a lot of great moves. He better use them against this guy, because you know one thing he's not going to do. He's not going to bull rush him. Top of your screen, you'll see the star on the right. That's number 61 moving right there. And so did Giesick late. But the guy they got was our man, Nate Newton.
3rd and 7 for Dallas. Ball at the 45 of Washington. Aikman with 3 wide receivers. Throws it off the fingertips of Jay Novacek, who had to reach. And I'm sure that shoulder, a little shot of pain reaching for that one. Todd Bowles on the cover.
One thing we've seen so far, though, James, is Dallas is holding on to the ball. They've actually gotten more time of possession than Washington. Last week in that terrible heat down in Dallas, that Dallas defense had to play 41 minutes plus in like 130-degree AstroTurf weather. You can't do that to your defense. Dallas is doing a good job of holding on to the ball so far.
Walter Stanley back waiting for this Mike Saxon punt. And this is a short one off the side of his foot. But it takes a Dallas roll. Couldn't ask for better. It'll only show up on the stat sheet as a 42-yard punt inside the 5. Washington ball when we come back. Second quarter action. Jimmy Johnson looking at his troops trailing by 3, but has Washington pinned at its own 3 as a result of an ugly kick. First and 10. From the 3. Rip to pass. Gary Clark. Incomplete.
That's showing a lot of confidence in your offense and in your offensive line. Pinned back to about the 3-yard line, coming out gunning like that. If you're in the end zone, offensive lineman gets called for holding. That's going to be a safety. Good protection for Rypien, though. He throws it right on the numbers. And this is so far, I believe, the 3rd pass. We've seen the much talked about posse put the ball on the ground. One thing that was kind of funny was talking to the posse on Friday. They mentioned that Rypien throws kind of a funny ball. It's not a real tight, easy to catch spiral. It sometimes kind of knuckles at him.
Second and 10. Gerald Riggs, the back and the ball carrier, and Riggs bullying his way up to about the 8-yard line. Pick up a 5. Eugene Lockhart on the tackle. So Gerald Riggs using his size and strength to advantage.
3rd down here for the Dallas Cowboy defense. You'd expect them to rush with their standard 4, not blitz the Washington Redskins, and try to get as many guys in the underneath coverage to stifle this short passing game for the Washington Redskins as possible.
Calvin Bryant, the back in on 3rd down. Rip. Complete to Sanders. So Ricky Sanders' reception gives Washington a first down, an 8-yard pass play.
You know, that was something funny, James. Yesterday we were at practice. We all observed something that's kind of curious. We're watching them practice. They're not really practicing. It's like an on-the-field quiz for the Dallas Cowboys. You know, the defensive coordinator, Coach Onside, going, now let's see. If you get this motion, where do you go and who do you pick up? And I'm going, this is a pro team on a Saturday?
Rip has his pass tipped. Intended receiver, Don Warren. Now, you said you found that a little surprising, having and hearing Dave Onside talk about those things on Saturday. Why?
Well, mainly because being used to being around a veteran team, and even the Washington Redskins, a Saturday walkthrough, the coach will stand back there and will just sort of observe, might make a point to a position coach, this guy's made a mistake, he didn't read this quite right. You don't have the luxury of doing that when you have such little experience as the Dallas Cowboys does. They cannot take anything for granted. They get daily written tests on offense and defense.
Second and 10. Warren, the H-back in motion. Sanders in the slot. Rypien throwing in the direction of Gary Clark. And he's down at about the 24-yard line. So a 7-yard pass play. And the question is, did he catch it? Now, look from here like he might have trapped it, but the official was right on top of the play.
Concentrate on this replay. Watch the ball come in. Does it hit the ground first? It all depends on what kind of a look we're going to get at it here. But as all good receivers, he comes back for the ball. Oh, I don't think that'll be too hard to call by the official.
Well, we've got a replay coming up. And one of the things the Skins might have tried to do was to run the play quickly enough before replay got into the act.
Well, actually, his hands didn't get on the ball until after it had hit his face and then hit the ground, then hit his hands.
The official today up in the replay booth, Tom Kelleher. Now keep in mind, this year, replays are limited to a total of 2 minutes to make a decision from the time that the umpire on the field signals that the play is being reviewed.
Now take a look, one more look at it. Williams is doing a good job of coverage. Comes back for the ball. The ball's trapped near the ground, on the ground. The ball was on the ground all the way as far as I'm concerned. One more time. Fairly conclusive, I believe, that ball squirted out of there and he had it trapped against the ground.
Well, for those of you who may be keeping track of the time, just shy of 1 minute now for this review. You see the umpire there talking into the mic, communicating with the replay booth, and again, 2 minute max this year. We'll see if they adhere to it.
Reversal, incomplete pass.
Well, they did the right thing, Randy.
The system does work. On occasion, you do get sort of the replay that wouldn't die. It takes them a long time, but I like to see it when it's right.
And for the Skins, it will bring up a 3rd and 10. You take a look at Stan Humphries there signaling in the plays. Calvin Bryant Third down, pass receiving back is in the action for the Skins. Rip with time to Sanders. Over his outstretched hand. Incomplete, so that will bring up a punting situation. Ron Francis providing the coverage along with Manny Hendricks.
Now the question here, are the Washington fans booing Rypien, or are they booing the receivers who are continually now bouncing balls off their hands, off their chest, and off their face?
Well, if you read the papers here in Washington, one would assume that it's Mark Rypien.
Everything's always, Coach Joe Gibbs made a great comment last week after that game. They barbecue the coach and the quarterback when things don't go well.
Mojo with a line drive at the 48 of Washington, and Harris takes it inside the 40 of Washington to about the 37. So a 32-yard punt for Mojo, a 10-yard return. Dallas doing a good job of keeping Washington from being explosive, trailing by just a field goal. And Ricky Sanders having a big afternoon thus far, 4 receptions. Total yardage 66, and that includes a couple of runs of 16 yards. Again, the big concern by Dallas was just to play vanilla defense and hang in there, and they're doing that, Randy.
That's exactly what they're doing. They also wanted to get the running game going, and early it looks like it's at least been effective. You wouldn't want to say it's good, but to date, you saw the numbers earlier. Aikman is 2 for 8 right now. It's critical he starts hitting some of these passes. It'll not only give him confidence, it'll give those guys that play around him confidence that he can really lead this team, as Coach Jimmy Johnson obviously believes he's the man, or they wouldn't be talking about making these moves with Steve Walsh and New Orleans Saints.
Well, one of the real areas that Johnson and Aikman had to work on, and will be working on all season, the receivers. First and 10, ball at the 37 of Washington, and Alonzo Highsmith wrapped up 1-yard gain maybe. Wilbur Marshall on the tackle, and Tracy Rocker assisting.
Well, the Cowboys on yesterday told us that they're looking at running the ball off tackle and outside. Now they've got an Alonzo Highsmith in the backfield, number 32, who Coach Johnson thinks is one of the best blocking fullbacks in the league. Everybody thinks of him as being a great pass receiver and a great runner. Coach Johnson says wrong. This guy can block.
Out of the pro set on second down. Complete to Emmitt Smith, and Smith still on his feet. Has the first down, plus a yard. So Emmitt Smith, who said that most of his short time here with Dallas has been spent studying and being tested on the plays, showing he's a good student.
Well, he said, I'm used to getting tested in college, but goodness gracious, every day. Aikman just flips it out here, and from here on, it's balance. Nothing but balance and speed.
I think that qualifies as a shake and bake.
That's a shake and bake. That's not really too much of the real strictly speed. But here's the move again. Bounce once, bounce twice, go for a little balance with a hand down, and he keeps right on going.
And Wilbur Marshall at 6'1", 230, trying to get a bead on the quick Smith. Faked out that time.
Well, Emmitt Smith is fairly similar in body type to a Barry Sanders. He's 5'9", weighs about 199, 200 pounds, and carries an awful lot of his weight in his lower body. The difference between him and Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith looks to be incredibly strong upstairs.
Well, now, Randy, as we saw by that picture there, it looks like Emmitt Smith ran out of bounds about 8 inches shy of the first down marker, so that will bring up a third down. Boy, the all-important mark.
Exactly. As a player, that can sometimes drive you crazy, and I'm sure coaches, that's a constant problem with them. Coaches don't like it. Third and short here, you have to look for them to go behind Tony Slayton, the right guard, number 65, and Nate Newton, number 61, the right tackle.
Power formation, the eye, Smith, the ball carrier, over top. No question about it that time. You know, in talking to Emmitt Smith yesterday, you really have to like the enthusiasm, the freshness that he does bring to the game, and I'm sure you had that as a rookie as well.
Well, I didn't have quite the delusions of grandeur. I mean, he's talking about, I'm going to go out here, I'm going to make everybody miss, I'm going to embarrass them. And don't get me wrong, folks, this is a great kid, but it was kind of fun. Jim Jeffcoat was in the room at the same time, their defensive end, number 77, and he kind of smiled over there. When we talked to him, he goes, well, He's young. He'll learn there's a lot of guys out there that can catch him.
9:44 remaining in the first half. Cowboys trailing by a field goal. 1st and 10 at the Washington 24. Aikman. Complete to Kelvin Martin. And Martin slowed up by Daryl Green and drops finally after a 5-yard pass play.
People talk about a #1 draft choice like Aikman. The thing to watch here, watch how short his release is once he throws the ball, and he throws this thing about 30 yards on a rope across the field. Just sort of flips it with his wrist. It gets there in no time. That's why people are so excited about this quarterback, Troy Aikman. He can get the ball to the receiver.
2nd and 5. Alonzo Highsmith. Charles Mann on the tackle after a gain of about 3. So Washington gets its dime defensive package ready. 6 defensive backs. Will bring up a 3rd and 2 situation, Randy.
And not only those dime defensive backs, have also brought into the game number 78, Tim Johnson, 6'3", 261 out of Penn State, and number 75, Eric Williams, recently acquired from the Detroit Lions. He missed all of training camp on a holdout.
Play action to Alonzo Highsmith. Run out of bounds by Andre Collins. Looked to be shy of the 1st down. Good read by the rookie from Penn State.
That was a well-designed play that was very well executed, and unfortunately had another Penn State rookie linebacker in Andre Collins, number 55, reads this well with the boot. Watch the way he tackles Alonzo Highsmith, number 32. Collins, 55, drives right through him and denies him the 1st down. Big play.
This will be a 33-yard field goal attempt by Ken Willis. And this is only his 2nd attempt of his young career. The holder, Jay Novacek. High snap. It's up. And it's good. So it's the battle of the feet in the early going here. First half action. Dallas and Washington all tied with 7:42 remaining. Ken Willis' field goal ties it up for Jimmy Johnson's Cowboys, and the only concern that Jimmy Johnson has about the rookie Ken Willis is his ability to kick the ball off deep.
Oh, exactly. He's got 6 kickoffs through this point of the season so far, none for a touchback. He's not getting it very deep, and Jimmy Johnson told us very candidly yesterday, this could jeopardize this young kicker's career. You don't have the luxury of having a guy that specializes in kickoff in the pros. He's got to get deeper, or he might have to look for another kicker.
And Willis pushes Brian Mitchell to the 1. Mitchell across the 20. Flag on the play. And Brian Mitchell with an excellent return up to about the 44-yard line before being stopped by James Dixon. But there are flags everywhere. Brian Mitchell, rookie out of Southwest Louisiana, skins extremely high on him, and one obvious reason there.
Well, Willis obviously has heard some of Johnson's criticism about his kickoffs not getting deep, and immediately puts one on about the 1-yard line. But the key there is not always how far it goes. He must also have excellent hang time, because as you see there, the coverage team, if they don't get inside the 30-yard line on the hang time, that runner's got 20, 25, 30 yards in some cases to get a running start and find his
Holding on the return team. 2 different fouls, both holding on the return team. A face mask on the kicking team. That's a double foul after change of possession. The receiving team gets the football at the spot of the furthest foul back. 1st down.
Well, I don't think that needs any embellishment. Pretty well done. And he didn't stammer.
This is one of those things where Joe Gibbs and Jimmy Johnson, the head coaches, are going to turn around and look at an assistant coach and go, is he right? Is that in the book?
Well, it sounded like a very effective argument from a well-prepared attorney. So Mark Rypien will start from his own 19, 1st and 10, 7:31 remaining in the first half. And Ernest Biner with a 6-yard run. Doubleheader Sunday here on CBS. You're looking at the Skins and Cowboys right now. Coming up next, many of you will see Philadelphia and the LA Rams. Interesting matchup.
Oh, exactly. If any of you on NFL Today, Leslie Visser had a great piece on the Eagles talking about Buddy Ryan, and Norman Brayman goes, hey, there's no controversy here. There's no conspiracy. If I wanted to, I could fire him today if I wanted to.
He's got the power. 1 second down. Flag on the play as Biner tries to crawl his way forward. Good eyes on your part, huh?
Offensive linemen can spot holds every single time, I guarantee it. But to go back to that Buddy Ryan thing, a lot is made of that because Philadelphia is very much a swaggering, kind of a wild team. People enjoy Philadelphia, I think, not doing well. They like to rub it into a Buddy Ryan.
Holding 53 offense. 10 yards, second down.
That's Jeff Bostic. Well, then, do you think there's any legitimacy to Keith Jackson talking about he's coming back to help Buddy Ryan save his job? And we'll discuss that in a second. Coming to you live from RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. The Redskins and the Cowboys all knotted at 3 apiece. 6:52 remaining in the first half. James Brown along with Randy Cross.
I don't think there's really anything to that, James, to be honest with you. It's early in the season. Granted, they're 0-2. He's not coming back to save Buddy Ryan's job. He's coming back to get a regular paycheck. Keith Jackson may not be happy because he doesn't make enough money, but right now, at least he's making money.
And Terry Bradshaw punctuated that on the NFL Today show. Ernest Biner, the lone back. 2nd and 13. This is Biner. And Ernest Biner gets 12 of those 13 yards back. Excellent run dropped by Robert Williams.
And the key to that excellent run is right here. Watch Eugene Lockhart and watch Jeff Bostic, number 53, block 56, Lockhart on this play. This is what's known in college ball as a pancake, ladies and gentlemen.
Pancake?
A pancake. Oh, it didn't quite make it. He put Eugene on his back. That's a Pro Bowler. That's an all-pro guy.
Without serve. 3rd and 1. Nearly intercepted as Rypien was trying to connect with Ricky Sanders, and Sanders frustrated thinking that Ron Francis took his head off before the ball got there.
Well, that's kind of like a holding penalty. If they don't throw the flag, it must not be an infraction. If you can get away with it, it's perfectly legal.
Good pressure by Dallas that time, specifically Jimmy Jones and Tony Tolbert. So give them some credit.
And Tolbert, number 92, is a guy, Jimmy Johnson. He's put on like 20 pounds since last year. He thinks he can put another 15 or 20 on and be a defensive tackle for him in the future.
Ralph Morshienko punting. This is Rod Harris for Dallas. And Harris lets it roll, and it stops at the 39 of the Cowboys. 5:53 remaining in the first half, and we're all tied at 3-all. Washington, D.C., Dallas Cowboys, Washington Redskins, all even at 3 apiece. Second quarter action, 5:53. Good baseball action taking place today as well. National League, Montreal and Philadelphia, no score in the second inning. American League East, Boston and New York, Red Sox on top by 1, that in the second inning. 1st and 10 for the Cowboys. This is Emmitt Smith. Bounces off of 1 tackle, has the first down, and pulled out of bounds by Todd Bowles. So, Randy, you talk about little things counting. Missed tackles certainly count. Otherwise, a 15-yard pickup for Emmitt Smith.
And a good example there of what we talked about earlier of the upper body strength of Emmitt Smith. Number 91, Greg Minuski, came through there. He was going to blast him. He was going to stick him. Smith has kind of lowered his shoulder right into Minuski's face mask, and he bounces right off him. Watch it right there. Minuski tries to tackle him. He sheds him right away, and Emmitt Smith just keeps on going. No shaking, no baking, just speed.
Emmitt Smith again. And Alvin Walton. Strong play on his part as he drops Emmitt Smith for a 1-yard loss on the play. So Emmitt Smith looking to improve on his stats of last week. Gained only 11 yards on 6 carries. Better today, 7 for 35.
Well, Dallas' entire offense has been just pathetic running the ball in the first 2 weeks.
2nd and 11. 4:55 remaining in the first half. Daryl Johnston, the back. 3 wideouts in for the Cowboys. And Tracy Rocker in the backfield along with Charles Mann.
Defense, 5 yards.
Now this one goes against the Skins.
Prior to today's game, you want to see how bad Dallas Cowboys have been at running the ball without a consistent Smith in the game and without Alonzo Highsmith? It's been ridiculous so far this season. Look at that. Number 1, AG, who's got a bad knee, has got 64 yards. Then your quarterback is number 2 at 15.
Second and 6. Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt Smith running well. Pushed out of bounds by Todd Bowles.
And back to that rushing stat, they've rushed for 108 yards in the first 2 games. 11 running backs in the NFL have more than 108 yards in 2 games.
Well, prior to Alonzo Highsmith getting his start today, Dallas had gone through 7 running backs, including Emmitt Smith, trying to find the right combination since last season.
That's the key to this Dallas offense for Troy Aikman. To get him some help is an effective running game to take the pressure off that young quarterback.
3rd and short out of the pro set. Aikman audibly. Alonzo Highsmith has the first down. So the big back out of Miami paid dividends on that one, giving them the first down. Mark Stepnoski, Tony Slayton, and Nate Newton doing a good job up front.
And something unusual on 3rd down, for example, middle linebacker. Redskins tell us Minuski, number 91, is our run linebacker. Govea, number 54, he's our pass linebacker. Who's in there on 3rd and short? Govea, number 54, the pass linebacker.
Makes sense.
He got stuff pretty good there, too.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
1st and 10, ball at the 32 of Washington. 3-3 ball game. Aikman with time, going up top. And a great defensive play by Martin Mayhew. The intended receiver was Dennis McKinnon, but Mayhew with an excellent deflection.
Martin Mayhew, number 35 on the left side of your screen there, said, if I have to develop one thing, like most young defensive backs, I have to develop a short memory. He's forgotten about last week's poor performance. Nice job of timing right at the last minute to knock that really a nice pass that Troy Aikman threw. Was going to drop it right into McKinnon. Great play by Martin Mayhew.
Mayhew at 5'8", defending McKinnon at 6'1". 2nd and 10. Aikman again looks to be changing the call at the line of scrimmage. Going up top for Kelvin Martin. Incomplete. Daryl Green was with him step for step. And Aikman paid the price.
Well, last week's mishaps at the corners against San Francisco were not limited just to Mayhew. Green was beaten repeatedly by Jerry Rice, and here he covers Martin, number 83, perfectly, and Green, 28, doesn't give him really much of an option or anywhere to go. Another good play on the other side of the field.
Daryl Green, every year he's competed in the NFL fastest man contest, he's won it. 3rd and 10. 4 wideouts in for the Cowboys. Johnston, the lone back. Incomplete. Ryan Davis was defending from the ground on his knees. Intended receiver, Kelvin Martin.
Right here, you're at the extreme outside of Willis's really range as a kicker. He's got Willis's range as a kicker. He's got a 50-yarder in college. This will be from about 51 yards. This will be the longest kick of his career.
That 50-yarder came against North Carolina in college. And the holder, Jay Novacek, it was important for the Cowboys to have him on for holding because he's the best.
Last snap was high.
It's up. And it hits the bar. No good. Had the distance, not the accuracy. And Johnson's shrug says it all. So we remain tied at 3. Randy, although that was a field goal attempt, Ken Willis was talking about the balls maybe having some effect on his distance on kickoffs and perhaps long field goals.
Well, every week there's brand new balls. They're prepared the same way. They get the same amount of air. They rub them down with dirt. I mean, it's kind of like a balata ball or a Sirloin ball in golf. I can't tell the difference. Only a kicker knows the difference in balls.
First and 10 for the Skins. Ball at the 33. Rypien throws it complete to Gary Clark, and Clark right at the first down marker. A 12-yard pass play as Gary Clark with an excellent route. 2:44 remaining in the first half. Clark in motion, now in the slot. Sanders now in motion. Rip complete to Gary Clark for yet another first down. So Washington with 2:13 remaining in the first half on the march. A 17-yard pass play inside the 40 of Dallas.
And thus far, what we've seen from the Washington offense hasn't really been a job that the Dallas defense has played really great. It's a case that Mark Rypien right there, number 11, the quarterback, conferencing with the coach, and the Washington offense, specifically the receivers, have not held on to the ball. It's easy to defend the team when they can't catch.
As much grief as Rip took this week for his performance last week was very, very refreshing in terms of how he's handled the controversy and dealing with the press.
He's resigned to the fact that they're gonna rip me. If I don't play well, they don't think I'm playing well, they're gonna rip me. And that's a clean, healthy attitude for a quarterback or a coach. Because you do anything wrong, you're in the microscope in the NFL these days. And if you're a quarterback, you better get used to bad publicity. Joe Montana gets bad publicity, so naturally Mark Rypien's gonna get a lot.
Rip said no matter how bad it got, he would not stop meeting with the press, though. First and 10, ball at the 39 of Dallas. Rypien with plenty of time for Art Monk. Complete for a first down. And Mark Rypien got whacked good and is limping on that left leg of his.
He took a shot late there from a late rush. The offensive line was doing a great job of protecting for him, but right in there at the last moment, he seemed to take a lateral shot from Dean Hamill, number 78, on the side of his leg.
And that is Stan Humphries, the backup quarterback who will be going into the game, a second-year player from Northeast Louisiana.
Watch right at the end here. We'll see Hamill, 78, sheds the blocker, Schlereth, and is going to dive right in at the end, trying to distract. Actually, Schlereth drives him into the side of Rypien's leg.
So with 2:03 remaining in the first. In the first half, Stan Humphries replaces Mark Rypien. Stan Humphries has played in only 2 NFL games. And this, his second year in the NFL. And there are many on the Redskins coaching staff, and including an ex-player, Sonny Jurgensen, who happens to think this is the better talented guy of the 2. He'll get a chance to show his wares in just a moment.
And with Dallas and Washington all tied, the thing to watch in this replay, here's the 3 people involved. Here's the leg, classic throwing technique, and Schlereth is going to drive, number 69 is going to drive Hamill right on to Rypien's left leg. Had it planted and in the ground.
First and 10 at the 24, the Cowboys. Humphries up for his first pass. Touchdown! Oh, they say out of the end zone, dropped. That was a touchdown. Ricky Sanders had it and dropped it.
And if not for the hold on somebody in that offensive line for the Washington Redskins, would have been a great debut at quarterback for Humphries. And a lot of people compare him to more of a Joe Theismann type of a quarterback. He's more of a guy that makes things happen. He's a slinger. He gets the ball off sidearm if he has to. You see the replay there. The ball is flipped perfectly up here. Great pass, really. Unfortunately, it's going to be a holding penalty, and it's all for naught.
couldn't ask for a more perfectly placed pass by Stan Humphries.
Is this guy emotional and excited? Look at him. Oh, darn. Would that have made the papers tomorrow or what?
Instead, he now operates 1st and 20. 1:54 remaining in the first half. To Bynum. And the spin move. Got him some extra yardage. Down to the 20. A 14-yard pickup from Humphries. To Bynum, stopped by Vince Albritton. As you take a look at Mark Rypien being carried off the field, that left leg wrapped, and Washington calls a timeout on the field with 1:42 remaining.
Nicely executed play right there by the Washington Redskins. Dallas read that as screen all the way to Bynum. They just couldn't do anything about it. The whole left side of the offensive line, led by Russ Grimm, number 68, and Jim Lachey, number 79, got out on that screen and led the way for Bynum. They made the first 2 blocks, and then Bynum was just grinding and twisting and running. The Dallas defensive line sort of stops rushing. Look at Tolbert, 92. He knows it's screen. Everybody else knows it's screen. Lachey, 79, gets a block. Grimm gets a block. Number 68, from here on, oh, heck, it's just twisted and turning. And Bostic, number 53, the center, got a nice block out there.
And nice to hear and see Rip get a good hand from the fans here. 2nd and 7. Humphries back to pass with time. Complete to Ricky Sanders inside the 5. And what Rip turns back and looks and sees is a first down pass, 17-yard pass play from Humphries. And Washington with 1:36 remaining inside the 5 of the Cowboys.
And now that play right there, that was a blown coverage. It had to be. Because the receiver was all by himself. There was nobody within 10 yards of Sanders.
1st and goal, ball at the 4. Washington has problems against San Francisco at the goal line. We'll see here. Humphries wisely wraps it up and is dropped back at about the 6. Danny Noonan along with Jack Del Rio.
And that's a little extra that Humphries can add to this offense. When he doesn't see anything, he has the abilities to pull that ball down and run with it a little bit. If he becomes a regular quarterback, if this injury is serious to Rypien's knee, you might see more rolls, more sprints out of this Washington offense because they have a more mobile quarterback than Humphries.
Right now, Washington would like to score in this they call the red zone inside the 20. Humphries has the ball batted down. Jim Jeffcoat. So Jim Jeffcoat bats down a Stan Humphries pass.
This has been a strong point for Jim Jeffcoat for years. You see number 77 in the right corner of your screen there, the defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys. He's not getting a great pass rush against Lachey, number 79, the left tackle for the Redskins, but he just says, hey, I don't need to get right at the quarterback. I can jump up and block it. And this guy is the veteran stabilizer for that Dallas defense. He's been there 8 years now.
3rd and goal, ball at the 6. Monk in motion. Humphries has his arm hit as he releases the ball. Intended receiver was Art Monk, and Bill Bates done a good job on defense.
And Bill Bates, watch him come out of the right side of the screen. Number 40 right there. He reads blitz. He's going to get under the jersey, under the pads, under the chin, into the helmet, and onto the ground with the quarterback. Who is the 3rd string quarterback for the Washington Redskins if they keep getting him beat up like that?
Well, Jeff Rutledge is on IR. Well, and Russ Grimm would be the emergency quarterback.
High school quarterback.
That's right.
Well, that'd be an offensive lineman's dream to get him in the game.
This will be a 23-yard field goal attempt by Chip Low-Miller. And Low-Miller boots it through, so Washington could not score the touchdown, has to settle for the field goal and lead it 6-3.
It's a real concern for the Washington Redskins. They had trouble inside the 20. In fact, on the 1-yard line last week, with the San Francisco 49ers. So far today, they've gotten the ball down in the red zone twice and have not been able to get touchdowns. That is something they're going to hear about repeatedly from Joe Gibbs. You know, if they win this game or not, starting Monday in the meetings, they're going to hear about red zone offense, goal line offense. You got to do it.
The early report on Mark Rypien is that he has a severe sprain of the left knee. And as Randy mentioned, with no third quarterback dressed, Jeff Rutledge, of course, on IR, not available to come back until, ironically enough, when the Skins play the New York Giants. Would have to, in fact, go to Russ Grimm as their emergency quarterback.
I'd pay to see that. Russ Grimm, number 68, they'd have to cut all the tape off his hands. What I'd pay to see is not so much him throwing. I'd like to see him back there behind the center. I mean, he's got to be 20 pounds bigger than Bostic. That'd be a sight in itself.
Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Greg Gumbel and Terry Bradshaw with all the scores and highlights from New York. Low Miller, line drive. Dixon finally gets the handle at the 6 and runs into a wall that includes his own man. Brad Edwards will be credited with the tackle. Vince Albritton ought to be given an assist on that tackle, his own man.
That can be a little embarrassing when you're a special teams player. You know you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. You hope nobody really notices. But the thing to concentrate on here is two things. Watch the quarterback and how Troy Aikman uses the clock. A great gauge of how a quarterback matures is how he can use a clock in a situation like this. They're either going to come out throwing or they're going to run it. If I was a Dallas coach, I'd run this clock out and go into the locker room only down 3.
The clock reads 49 seconds remaining in the first half. Aikman throws it complete to Jay Novacek.
Dallas has got to get to at least the Washington 30-yard line, I think, in a pressure situation like this. They don't want to get Willis out there around 50, 51 yards again. They want to get him inside of 50 and give him a little bit more of a comfortable situation in a critical kick.
Well, Willis should be somewhat comfortable. He had the distance on that 51-yarder. 2nd and 1. Aikman throws it complete to Johnston for the first down.
And Dallas isn't running the ball like I had suggested, but they are taking very high percentage passes and taking advantage of the holes in the defense.
And they signal for a timeout with 33 seconds remaining in the first half. Don't forget, coming up next week here on CBS Sports, baseball returns to the airwaves. Some strong and tight division races in progress. And CBS Sports will keep you up to date with that. Check your local listings for the game in your area. And talk about a real dogfight taking place in the American League East. Boston and Toronto started the day tied.
The only race that's really out of question is the American League West, and the A's way out ahead of the Chicago White Sox. Every other race is within 4 games.
No doubt about that. In the National League, Pittsburgh leading the New York Mets by 2.5. Cincinnati by 4 over the Los Angeles Dodgers. But there is action today. Joe Gibbs looking on. First and 10. Ball at the 34 of Dallas. 4 wideouts in. Tip ball. Wilbur Marshall in the vicinity almost for the interception.
That's some dangerous territory late in the half like this to throw that ball into. There's only really 2 things that are going to happen. Your guy's either going to catch the ball or you're going to get a big turnover and you're going to set an experienced Washington offense up for a chance to put 3 more points on the board.
Brings up a 2nd and 10. 29 seconds remaining. Wilbur Marshall says he's doing exactly what the defense coaching staff wants him to do. Cover and rush. Aikman incomplete. In and out of the hands of Jay Novacek. 25 seconds remaining, and if Washington stops Dallas, Washington in not bad field position.
Well, Dallas is in a situation right now that they're throwing over the middle, and they're throwing over the middle short. It's not like every one of these passes is for at least a first down and move the ball and let it progress down the field. I don't really quite understand throwing it over the middle like that. I think you go on the sidelines, you go long, or you throw right at the markers on the right on the end line.
3rd and 10. Aikman with time, throws it complete, and he had all the time in the world as Dennis McKinnon catches it at midfield for the first down. Timeout called again with 16 seconds remaining.
And that leaves the Dallas Cowboys with probably 2 plays and a kick left. And we'll see Aikman, obviously the coach is up in the box, led by Coach Shula, the quarterback coach and coordinator, figuring this out. McKinnon sits in the hole and hits him right in the chest.
Offside, defense, penalty is declined. First down. Due to the penalty, no Dallas timeout.
So there was no Dallas timeout charged that time. 16 seconds remaining. 1st and 10, ball marked at the 49. Washington.
That could be a big call right there, James. Not having a charged timeout, Dallas will have 2 timeouts left. They can get 2 plays off, after which they can stop it both times to set up that field goal. They do not have to throw to the sidelines.
An opportunity to at least tie it up.
And they're within 19 yards of that area they need to get into. They're at the 49-yard line now. They need to get to about the 30 to put Willis in effective field goal range.
Looking for Martin, nearly intercepted by Brad Edwards. So Aikman was looking for Kelvin Martin and instead almost found Brad Edwards. We'll make it 2nd and 10 with 11 seconds remaining.
Like I mentioned earlier, these are the situations where you really get a good gauge on how much maturity a young quarterback is getting. You watch a Joe Montana, you watch a very experienced quarterback, they do things a little bit differently. They're not taking quite the chances, I think, that Aikman is.
Complete to Johnston, and Johnston dives for what looks to be the first down as Daryl Johnston quickly signals for the timeout with 2 seconds remaining. So the ball looks to be marked at about the 38-yard line, so that's near.
You know, we talk about an experienced quarterback. Troy Aikman throws that ball. As soon as he throws it and it's complete to Johnston, he starts sprinting towards the towards the receiver who has the ball and the nearest official. All he has to do is turn around to the referee and say, I want a timeout. He can save himself a 20-yard sprint.
And a little extra energy. Well, not quite the comfort zone that you were saying Ken Willis would need. This will be a 56-yard field goal attempt if they attempt to do such. And again, his career longest in college, a 50-yarder. So this will be a 56-yard attempt by Ken Willis. It's up, and this one is going to be way short. So that's the end of the first half with the score, Washington 6, Cowboys 3.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Delta Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows. McDonald's, you know the one. It's McDonald's for food, folks, and fun. And by Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old to get into the cold.
Welcome back to the NFL Today, everyone. Along with Terry Bradshaw, I'm Greg Gumbel. A game you are watching, a 6-3 Washington Redskin lead over the Dallas Cowboys. Let's take you through the scores right now, beginning at Soldier Field in Chicago, where at halftime the Bears are leading the Minnesota Vikings by a 13-6 count. We talked about offensive coordinator Greg Landry of the Bears. Nice to see him back on the sidelines as the game begins. Meanwhile, that Chicago defense continuing to look tough. Richard Dent bats the Wade Wilson pass into the air and picks it off. That set up a Chicago field goal, and Jerry Burns hoping that maybe a better field will mean a better offense for his club, but all it did was improve things for Neil Anderson.
Right, a great, overly aggressive defense, Greg. The best kind of back to have is a back that has quick vision and quick feet. That's how Anderson saw it. Cut back, went against the grain, touchdown.
Bears lead it at halftime by a score of 13-6. Meanwhile, at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, the Chiefs are leading the Packers 7-3 as they begin the second half of play. Don Majkowski, 8 of 14, 66 yards, 1 interception, sacked twice. He's not having a good day. The Chiefs lead it by 4.
Dillwig.
And some of the fans are yelling for Anthony Dillwig, too, even as we speak. They've begun the second half at the Meadowlands, where the Giants lead the Miami Dolphins by a score of 10-3. The Dolphins were limited to 25 yards on offense in the first half, but drove down the field with the second half kickoff and kicked a field goal. Halftime at Washington, the game you're watching, the Redskins leading the Cowboys 6-3. And are they looking at Steve Walsh's last game in a Dallas uniform? Perhaps, if that trade happens that we discussed on the NFL Today. Meanwhile, Troy Aikman having his share of problems. Wilbur Marshall sacks him for the 9-yard loss, much to Jimmy Johnson's dismay. But Mark Rypien comes back to Ricky Sanders.
Oh, the question, what's the greatest route in all of football? I ask you now, and that answer is the crossing route. It runs through zones and away from man coverage. Nice job by Sanders and Rypien.
Mark Rypien injured in the second quarter. Stan Humphries replaces him. What's the difference?
There is none. They're both huge, big-legged guys, strong-armed, and lots of confidence. I don't think you'll see any slack at all.
All right, Terry, they've begun the third quarter in New Orleans, where the Saints are leading the Phoenix Cardinals by a score of 7-0. And is Steve Walsh on the way? Well, Saints fans are looking for some help, and this play didn't change their minds any at all. Forcade throws up the easy interception to number 46, Tim McDonald, as the Cardinals blunt a charge downfield by the Saints. However, Forcade feeling a little better with this one to Eric Martin.
Combination route, a bow out by the wide receiver, then a quick slant by the inside guy, and all you do is key the safety. If he takes the deep corner, then you come to the guy underneath. Martin beat the guy underneath, got the ball there, touchdown.
First touchdown for the Saints this season. They lead Phoenix 7-0. At halftime at Cincinnati, Boomer Esiason's thrown 2 touchdown passes. The Bengals lead the Patriots. In Cleveland, it is a 14-10 Browns lead. That game has also gone to the half. And 2 Lorenzo White touchdowns have the Oilers on top of Indianapolis 14-0 as they begin the second half. And the NFL Today will continue on CBS after this word from your local station.
Back here at RFK, as you take a look at Troy Aikman, who certainly would like to have had a bit more offensive firepower in the first half. Low-scoring ball game, Washington on top, 6-3. James Brown along with Randy Cross. And Randy, not an awful lot to talk about offensively for either team, but the big play in the first half could very well turn out to be that injury to Mark Rypien, the Redskins quarterback.
Without a doubt, James. We're going to take a look at it. His Schlereth, number 69, drives Hamill 78 right into the knee. It's been diagnosed as a severely sprained left knee for Mark Rypien, and we'll see him limp off just after it occurred. A quarterback injury like this can either be an incredible minus for a team or a great plus. Now, you can't diagnose from the booth. No one knows what's wrong with Rypien's knee, but Humphries, number 16, has an opportunity to come into this game and make a difference. He'll either be a distraction where the guys will wonder what he's going to do, or it'll be a big plus and just come in here running and gunning. What he did so far in the second quarter, to me, I think the guy's got poise.
Well, he's going to get an opportunity to show some of that poise here at the top of the second half as Dallas and Ken Willis kicks off the Redskins. This is Brian Mitchell from the 13. And Mitchell, roped by Bill Bates, a loose ball. Is it live? If it is, it's Dallas ball. And the preliminary signal seems to indicate that. And that is the first Washington turnover this season. The Redskins have gone through the first 2 games without an error Error number 1 could be a costly one.
Now watch Mitchell, number 30, come upfield and into your screen right there. Billy Bates, number 40, puts his head on the ball, knocks it loose. You know, Billy Bates is one of the older Dallas Cowboys, and he told us yesterday, because he's been the special teams king here at Dallas, and Dallas, he's been to the Pro Bowl. He said, look, they're not going to let me do anything. I'm going to run around, I'm going to do my best, but Washington hates me. They'll double team me before they let me make a big play.
Ray Horton recovered the fumble. Dallas, first and goal, ball at the 8. And it appears that this play is being reviewed, and the umpire stops the clock. It's timing now. So we'll find out whether or not the ball actually was brought loose after he hit the ground.
From the look of that replay we showed just a while ago, I think the only thing in question that possibly could be in question was he down on the ground before the ball squirted out? Let's take another look at it. Smagala, 42, misses him. Billy Bates hits him. From that look, you can't really tell because you can't see the backside of Mitchell. Here is the backside of Mitchell. Now you'll see Smagala miss, number 42. Bates hits him right on the ball. The ball is coming out before he hits the ground. Good call.
First and goal. Ball at the 8. Aikman. Incomplete. Andre Collins did a great job defending Rob Awalt.
Watch Andre Collins, number 55, the linebacker, going against Awalt, number 89. Now watch him just stick his arm up right there. He doesn't know where that ball is. Good timing. A defender will concentrate not only on the receiver's hands when he puts those hands up to catch a ball, he'll also watch his eyes. It's hard not to get excited about seeing a football coming at you, and defenders learn to read that.
Second and goal. And Charles Mann pointing at the Dallas offensive line as he runs into the backfield. Flags on a play. We'll see what the call, and Mann looks to be happy. And it is against the Cowboys.
Boy, it sure didn't seem to be much of a flinch. We'll have to get up there up close and personal to be able to tell if there actually was any kind of movement. Now watch Newton, number 61, on the left side of your screen. The second guy in from the tight end, Awalt. Boy, that was real close.
That must have been a sneeze.
Maybe Charles Mann's got a future, number 71, as an attorney, because he pleaded his case pretty good right there.
Second and goal, ball at the 13. Daryl Johnston, the lone back. Aikman throws it low and incomplete. Intended receiver, James Dixon.
But on that play right there, Dallas got some real good push right up the middle and couldn't stop the Washington Redskins front from coming in there. Aikman was forced not to be able to step forward, and that ball was thrown right about, shin high. And you had to feel sorry. Dixon really never had a chance to get at that ball, number 86.
Third and goal from the 13. Aikman under pressure, knocked loose by Fred Stokes.
His arm did not appear to be going forward. I'd have to think that is a fumble. And Aikman gets up. He's unhurt from that blindside hit.
So Fred Stokes, who does give the Washington Redskins pass rush from the right. Good job.
Here comes Fred Stokes from the right-hand side. Just does hit his arm before it moves forward. That was a fumble right there, ladies and gentlemen. And Stokes did a good job against Mark Tuanay, number 71. That's Stokes' specialty, number 60, is a get upfield. Got a 42-yard attempt right now by Willis.
And it's good. So Ken Willis comes away with the field goal, and the ball game is knotted at 6. Familiar sights here in the nation's capital, the Jefferson Memorial. Dallas Cowboys and Washington Redskins doing battle inside RFK, and another familiar sight, sellout crowd, 185th consecutive non-strike sellout here, and the fans are watching a field goal battle, all tied at 6 apiece.
There's Tony Wise, the offensive line coach, talking to his guys up front. Stepnowski, number 53 on the right, and Tony Slayton, number 65, the Plan B free agent from the Los Angeles Rams, on the left. And while we were away, Stan Smagala, number 42, the rookie at Notre Dame, win it.
Onside kick, and the flag is thrown. Apparently the ball did not go the necessary 10 yards. So a flag on the play, and we'll get the call from Bob McElwee. And was Dixon offside?
Side 45 kicking team, 5 yards.
Not Dixon, but Manny Hendricks.
Well, the element of surprise is always important on an onside kick. I think it surprised the Washington Redskins. It definitely surprised me, and it's a good job by Willis. Watch Hendricks right there on the left-hand side of your screen. Number 45 clearly was across the 35-yard line before the ball was kicked. His job really was not to get the ball. His job is to get down there and block the Washington players from getting at the ball. It's somebody behind him's job to get the football itself. On that play, he's just sort of a screen. He's out there to knock people out of the way and enable the other players to recover. I think that stat right there speaks for itself, folks. 2 of the 3 games in the last 2 years that the Dallas Cowboys have won have been against the Washington Redskins here in RFK.
So Willis, having kicked from 5 yards back, kicks it only to the 15, Brian Mitchell. And Mitchell across the 35 to about the 36-yard line. So Washington will start with good field position, as well as Stan Humphries at the quarterback spot.
You know, offensive linemen always wonder, what do quarterbacks do when they go to the sideline? There's Troy Aikman on the phone. He's up talking to his coach, Coach Shula, the quarterback coach. He's saying, well, Coach, no, I don't like hot dogs. Please don't give me a hot dog after a game. What did they do in the zone, by the way?
We got to lay it flat to slide this
Right now,
out.
the defense has a task at hand. Dallas's. Washington 1st and 10.
Now, these were out of a brand
from
new
the 36. Humphries to Ricky Sanders, in and out, and Ricky Sanders, uncharacteristic day, dropping yet another pass. Well, for an update on action around the league, let's check up in New York with Greg Gumbel.
All right, JB, at New Orleans, Tim Rosenbaugh of the Cardinals has thrown his first touchdown pass of the season, 37 yards to Ricky Prohl, and that pulls the Cardinals into a 7-7 tie with the Saints in the 3rd. Back to JB and Randy in Washington.
Boy, the Saints all in the news trying to get their first victory, and of course Steve Walsh being talked of as heading to the Saints. 2nd and 10, 13:35 remaining in the 3rd. Bynum. 1st down. Late flags everywhere. 15-yard gallop by Ernest Bynum.
Face mask foul, 51 defense.
And if that face mask was ruled, to be intentional and flagrant, they'll add another 15 yards.
And you might expect that to come from a boxer's son. That's Ken Norton.
Watch the end of the play right here. Norton, 51, reaches out, gets near the face mask, likes it so much he doesn't leave it, and uses that to spin Bynum around number 21 and put him on the ground. Ken Norton.
The explanation is an obvious one as to why that's dangerous.
That's right. Ken Norton, son of former heavyweight champion Ken Norton.
1st and 10. Ball at the 34 of Dallas. Humphries to pass. In the dirt, intended receiver, Art Monk. And Art Monk is not a very expressive individual, very quiet, but you can certainly tell by his body language there, a frustrating day for him.
It's been frustrating for the entire posse, Gary Clark and Sanders and Art Monk. They really have not had a very good day, and until that last penalty by Dallas, they have not really had the luxury of Dallas making dumb mistakes and going out of their way to give them an opportunity to make big plays.
Second and 10. 5 defensive backs in for the Cowboys. Sanders in motion. Sanders to handoff. Roped by Ron Francis, only a 2-yard gain. Live here in the nation's capital, RFK Stadium, the site of today's NFC East Division battle between longtime rivals Dallas and Washington. Evenly played ball game, as the score indicates. 6-all tie, battle of the field goal kickers. James Brown along with Randy Cross. 3rd and 8 for Washington. Ball at the 32 of Dallas. Kelvin Bryant, the back end. Humphries with time and complete to Clark. First down at the 15.
And the keys to this game so far, and what has kept Dallas in the game, is that the wide receivers, like Gary Clark, have not been catching the ball. And the big plays have been Mark Rypien getting hurt, and also Mitchell, number 30, fumbling a kickoff. Now watch Clark right here, number 84, in the left part of your screen. He sees the defense. He just settles down into a hole, sees Billy Bates is right there in front of him, number 40, so he goes to where Bates isn't, and Humphries hits him right on the numbers.
First and 10 from the 15 of Dallas. 3 tight end formation. Bynum can't capitalize on it as he's grabbed from behind by the 8-year veteran Jim Jeffcoat from Arizona State.
And a good job of penetration on that play right there by number 51, Ken Norton. He got upfield and forced Bynum to go deeper, which bought Jim Jeffcoat, number 77, the time to get out there and tackle Bynum.
A loss of 1 on the play. Humphries 3 of 7 for 47 yards passing.
Dallas has their nickel defense in right now. They're obviously expecting the pass.
On 2nd and 11. Bynum. Inside the 10. Dragged down at about the 7-yard line. James Washington.
Good call by the Washington offensive coaches. Dallas in a nickel defense expecting the run. What do they run? They run a draw, and a good job by Lachey, the left tackle, number 79, on Jeffcoat. He drives him inside, enables Bynum to get outside for a nice gain.
9-yard pickup brings up a 3rd and 2. Ball at the 7. 10:36 remaining in the 3rd.
Washington has got to punch the ball in the end zone in these red zone areas.
They've had problems. Humphries looking for Bryant. In and out of the hands of Kelvin Bryant. Humphries was under pressure.
Amazing sometimes how a storyline and a trend can maintain itself. Different players, same result. Kelvin Bryant that time cannot hold on to the ball, and that will frustrate a quarterback in the red zone. His receivers don't catch it, does not give him the opportunity to properly lead the defense.
And that's been the story. That's been the story for Washington in this game, and certainly against San Francisco. That goal line stand not able to capitalize inside the 20. This is a 25-yard field goal. That's good by Chip Lomiller. So the kickers earning their pay today. Washington leads it 9-6.
And the gentleman in the light shirt right there is Crawford Kerr, who wears number 68 for the Dallas Cowboys and saw his 44-game consecutive start streak get snapped today due to a knee injury he incurred last week and then compounded in practice.
Lomiller booms this one. No attempt at a return. James Dixon touchback. So Dallas will bring it out to the 20 with 10-10 remaining in the third. Field goal kickers duel, 9-6 lead by Washington. Just by way of an update here, inactive for the game, Isaac Holt, suffering from a groin pull, out for the Cowboys along with Crawford Kerr, Alvoid Mays, and Monte Coleman for the Washington Redskins. Coleman, the big loss as far as Joe Gibbs is concerned. Aikman, the handoff to Emmett Smith. Emmett trying to find some room on the left side. Wilbur Marshall strings him out and runs him out of bounds. Gain of about 2. Will bring up a 2nd and 8.
Well, Smith got strung out pretty effectively by the Washington defense on that particular play. And Jimmy Johnson, the head coach you see right there, the Dallas Cowboys, told us, you know, I don't mind a Smith running sideline to sideline. He can do that. He's got the speed and he's got the burst. If he sees something, he can go for it.
Out of the pro set on 2nd and 8. McKinnon in motion. Aikman smashed by Kurt Gouveia and Marcus Cook. And Gouveia, as Randy Cross said, who's the better pass coverage guy, comes in and delivers a nice hit.
Gouveia at 6'2", 227 pounds. You see him right there. Marcus Cook's lined up right here, number 74. Gouveia's 54. You'll see him rush Troy Aikman, and this is one of the areas Troy Aikman has to get better at. Actually, Steve Walsh handles this a little bit better in that this is the situation you got to get rid of the ball and not have to take a hit like that. He had nobody open. Dump it, get away from it, take the incompletion.
As a result, 3rd and 15. Complete to Dennis McKinnon, and it looks to be enough for the first down. So Troy Aikman, with the rifle of an arm and a bullet pass, finds Dennis McKinnon.
Now we have Dennis McKinnon lower left of your screen against Mayhew, number 35. Cuts back across the middle, and a strike thrown by Troy Aikman. We mentioned earlier that's the kind of pass that separates Troy Aikman from a normal quarterback. He can put that ball 30, 35-yard on rope.
19-yard pickup, ball at the 34 of Dallas. 1st and 10. Smith flags on a play as Emmitt Smith takes it up near the 40. So Emmitt Smith goes to give a hand to Tracy Rocker, and Rocker waves it off.
71 defense, 5 yards, first down.
That's Charles Mann. Mann has been a little jumpy all day.
Now watch Rocker, number 99, in the middle of your screen right there. Watch him jump. Now he gets back. No, I just think they got the wrong guy's number. Either that or Mann lined up off sides in the from left-hand position, number 71.
The focus of attention on that Washington defensive line minus Dexter Manley and his pass rushing ability. Not much of a gain on a play by Emmitt Smith. Let's check in New York with Greg Gumbel.
All right, JB, at New Orleans, the Saints have come right back to reclaim the lead. Look at the blocking Ruben Mays gets. He goes in from 10 yards out, and the Saints are back on top of Phoenix, 14-7 in the third. Back to RFK, JB, and Randy.
All right, Greg, and certainly no place to get back on track like doing it at home. The Saints hoping that will be the case. 2nd and 5 for the Cowboys. Emmitt Smith hurdling. Marcus Cook flushing him nicely. Pickup of about 2. Well, I tell you one thing, we know that Emmitt Smith is fast, but he's also showing us some hurdling ability.
That's a fun play to watch. You know, as a former offensive player, not too many backs have the ability to go full speed, leap up in the air, look to come down probably for a loss of a yard, maybe a no-gain play, and all of a sudden he squirts out on the other end for a 2-yard gain.
Makes it 3rd and 3 for the Cowboys. Ball at their own 41. 6:40 remaining. 3-point Skins lead. And complete for the first down to Dennis McKinnon as Martin Mayhew wraps him up, but too late. 9-yard pickup. So the third quarter is proceeding along as the previous two.
Exactly, and the offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys is really giving Troy Aikman good pass protection. It was one of the concerns of Coach Jimmy Johnson that line wouldn't give him the opportunity to get the ball off. He's getting plenty of opportunities. Now it's up to the wide receivers to beat the cornerbacks, Mayhew and Daryl Green for some pass plays.
Emmitt Smith shifting his way and looking for slight hold. Found enough for a 3-yard pickup.
There's a face only a mother would love. Several of them, actually.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Washington Redskins and the National Football League is prohibited. Joe Gibbs, in his 10th season here at Washington, trying to get his team back to the Super Bowl. 2nd and 7. Maybe 3 yards on the play. We'll call it 2.
Dallas lined up in a strong right type of an offense and attempted a running play right there. It was kind of fun to watch Emmitt Smith, that #1 pick, has been running the ball so effectively. You see Smith there, number 22, get out there and try to block. Well, he's not quite the threat as a blocker yet that he is as a runner, because he got out there, kind of slipped and fell, and was more of a hurdle than he was a blocker.
Well, he had a wall to go around that time, and Daryl Grant, the man they call World. 3rd and 6 from the 45 of the Skins. To Kelvin Martin, complete for the first down, and Martin's momentum carries Daryl Green with him out of bounds. There is a flag on the play. And this goes against Dallas.
From the way that play set up, it appeared to be a pick on the offensive receivers.
Offensive pass interference, number 86.
I think he's
10 yards.
just a little upset.
Just a little bit. There's really no doubt as to what happened there. Invariably, you bring a receiver in motion, or you get some guys out there, 2 receivers at a time. Now watch this. We'll take a look at this from the end zone again, and you'll see the Dallas receiver come from the outside and actually physically pick the Washington guy right off, way outside on the right. Right at the end, you'll see it. Right there.
Legal in basketball, illegal here.
That pick was put on Davis, and it was a very effective block.
3rd and 16, and flags everywhere. The right side of that Dallas line was moving, as well as the Skins defensive line.
Start 61 offense.
And that goes against Nate Newton, the slim one, 6'3", 318.
But we spoke earlier that Dallas was not making the critical mistakes that put themselves in bad position and give Washington the momentum. Well, so far in the last couple of possessions, you've seen a little bit of disintegration by the Dallas offense. They're starting to, I don't know if they're feeling pressure, but they're starting to make dumb mistakes.
Well, this mistake cost them. They'll now bring up a 3rd and 21. 3:40 and counting in the third quarter. Washington leads 9-6. There's Newton. Nickel defensive package in for the Skins. Aikman loses the ball, live ball. Skins recover.
Fred Stokes got it, number 60. It's critical for a quarterback that gets in a crowd, gets in a group of players like that, to be very aware of not only where the other people are, but where the ball is. Watch Troy Aikman. You've got to guard that ball, and he's waving it around. And don't really get too many defensive backs like Todd Bowles, number 23, a chance. They'll knock it right out of your hands, and Fred Stokes, number 60, picks it up.
This is the kind of confidence booster the staff is hoping Fred Stokes will get, and he delivered.
We talked about
those 10, ball at the 32.
We talked about those dumb mistakes. They compounded 2 in a row.
Play action. Humphries, sack. Looked to be Danny Noonan.
This could be the critical defensive possession for the Dallas Cowboys. If they can hold them to no points, they can really negate some bad mistakes by their offense. They must get aggressive and stop this Washington offense right here if they consider themselves a challenge to win this game.
Loss of 6 on the play brings up 2nd and 16. Gerald Riggs the back. Sanders in motion. Intended receiver was Gerald Riggs, and Washington is having some problems on the left side of that line as Jim Lachey having a difficult time of handling Jim Jeffcoat.
Well, I think both Lachey and Grimm are having a hard time on that left side, but give a little credit to Noonan and Jeffcoat, number 77, Jeffcoat, and number 73, Noonan. Here they are right here. Here's the 2 matchups we want to take a look at, and they're getting after Humphries, number 16. Watch this. Good defensive play right here by Jeffcoat, getting the pressure. Now watch Del Rio get lucky. He's turning around to catch the ball and just gets enough of it to tick it out of Riggs' hand.
And a timeout called on the field by Washington as Stan Humphries, seeing something he doesn't like, wants to talk it over. So Washington will have it 3rd and 16 when we come back. And that's Jim Hanifin just to the right of Joe Gibbs, the offensive line coach, and I'm sure he's had a few things to talk about.
Oh, he sure has. He's proud of this offensive line, but the story so far is that injury to Rypien, and Humphries is back in at quarterback.
On 3rd and 16. And Ricky Sanders, the intended receiver, Robert Williams, applying the hit right as the ball got to him.
You know, we talked about going into that last timeout that, you know, maybe Humphries saw something he didn't like, so he backed away and called timeout. Well, maybe he saw something he didn't recognize, not being familiar with being in the game, and rather than take a chance, he called a timeout.
So Chip Lohmiller will attempt a 55-yarder, and his longest in college was 60, as a pro, 48 yards. It's up. And it's good.
Well, the snap is a little high, but he gets all the way through this. And look at the concentration. Look at him watch this thing. And he's happy. He knows that's good. We've got some flags down on the field, though. And you've got me as to what it could possibly be.
12 men on the field against the defense. 5-yard penalty. Yeah, it's a 5-yard penalty. 5-yard penalty. You're going to decline it?
12 men on the field. That'll be 5 yards back. They'll decline it. We got a great game. 12-6, Redskins.
That flag is blowing with the wind left to right, which meant Chip Lohmiller was kicking against the wind, made that 55-yarder even more impressive, his career longest in the pros.
This thing had just enough juice. Look how high he got that kick. It didn't make it by much. The ball boy catches it right over the crossbar. He knew it was good the whole time. Look at that.
And he is having himself an excellent year. Field goal block last week by the 49ers was the first blocked field goal of Chip Lohmiller's at any level, high school, college, or pro. And Low Miller. Dixon from the end zone. Across the 20 to about the 23. Well, a lot going on around the NFL, and on top of the action is Greg Gumbel.
Well, JB back in New Orleans. A 46-yard 4K to Floyd Turner pass sets up Ruben Mays for his second touchdown run of the day. And the Saints are now on top of Phoenix 21-7, fourth quarter. Back to RFK, JB and Randy.
All right, Greg. Well, New Orleans looking to pick up its first victory of the season. And if Walsh is heading there, Steve Walsh, the backup quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, he may be going to a team that's already won without him. Emmitt Smith on first down, shaky. And the big move helped him to pick up 5 yards. And there is Steve Walsh, number 3.
Helping to signal in the plays. Babe Laufenberg is the third-string quarterback in the Cowboys hat and the headset to the left side of the screen, number 50.
Walsh was very good-hearted when we finished talking with him last night because I sprung a surprise on him once we completed the interview. I handed him a New Orleans Saints press guide, and he smiled and said, hey, let me tell you something. I was going to pick up one first thing Monday. 2nd and 4. 1:45 remaining in the third. Emmitt Smith. Driven back. Wilbur Marshall. So Wilbur Marshall drops Emmitt Smith for a loss of 1.
It's extremely critical right here for the Dallas Cowboys to get some offense going. Man number 71 is kicked out effectively by Tony Slayton, number 65, but Wilbur Marshall, number 58, makes a nice play with his penetration, and Giesick on that particular play, the left tackle, number 67, trapping from the backside, missed Marshall clean.
Marshall in more of a read defense, not the attack when he was accustomed to in Chicago, playing well. 3rd and 5. Incomplete as Fred Stokes and Charles Mann met at the cornerback. So Aikman had to get rid of it under pressure. Fred Stokes, number 60 for the Redskins, providing the pass rush that the Skins say they were lacking with Dexter Manley out. The big key here is the confidence of Fred Stokes, who of course suffered a shoulder injury in game 1 against Phoenix. Separated shoulder, he's now playing with the brace.
Well, the hardest part for Fred Stokes, number 60, is to get over the fact that yes, his shoulder is hurt, and yes, his shoulder will continue to pop out of joint. But he's wearing a brace that holds his arm down. He can't get his arm up over his head. He's got to get that out of his mind. When he gets that out of there full time, he's going to be a great pass rusher.
Saxon with the decent one. And Walter Stanley has to signal for the fair catch. So Mike Saxon with a 36-yard punt. 4-point hang time. Still scoreless ball game between the Mets and Chicago. Montreal and Philadelphia, National League, scoreless as well in the 6th. And Pittsburgh helping its own cause ahead comfortably. Ernest Biner, the ball carrier. And a pickup of about 1 with 40 seconds remaining. And a reminder that next Saturday, baseball comes back your way here on CBS. Start time 3 o'clock Eastern. Check your local listings for the division races and the games that we'll be showing. Under 20 seconds remaining in the third. Second and 9. Humphries complete to Sanders. And that'll do it for the third quarter with the score Washington 12, Dallas 6. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station.
This is CBS.
Field goals have accounted for all the scoring. Skins on top by 2 field goals at the start of the fourth quarter. And good news for the Redskins. That's Mark Rypien coming back out onto the field in street clothes, walking under his own power with the assistance of the Canes. X-rays proved negative. Back on the field, 3rd and 3 for Washington. Humphries throws it right in the chest of Gary Clark, and Clark obviously frustrated with himself.
Well, the Washington offense so far has done a pretty respectable job of keeping the Dallas Cowboys in this game. They start catching these passes. They must have a dozen drops, it seems like, so far today.
And that coming from the group known as the Posse. Set an NFL record last year with 3 guys, all 3 receivers, catching for 1,000 yards or more. First time a trio of receivers ever. Mojenko. And Washington downs it at about the 11 of Dallas. So the Cowboys, after a 45-yard punt, will start from their own 11. Well, the big play for Washington occurred in the first half when Mark Rypien was injured. Troy Aikman, decent afternoon, but it's been a battle of the field goal kickers, and the Cowboys will be starting from their own 11 on this possession. 11 make that 14-46 remaining in the contest. And Randy, without a lot of big offensive plays, you think this is a very crucial possession for the Cowboys?
Oh, definitely. Dallas has got 17 yards total offense so far in this second half. Very key for them right now, this far backed up in this part of the territory, to run the ball effectively. And if they do throw the ball, throw very conservative, very safe passes. They can't afford to give up a turnover in this territory. I mean, regardless of how bad Washington's been in the red zone, if they give it up here, I think they can kiss their chances goodbye.
Stan Smagala, bad news for the Cowboys, a fractured left radius. Being fitted for a cast on his left arm in the locker room right now. 1st and 10. Ball at the 11 of Dallas. Andre Collins, sack of Aikman.
And we'll see the sack is going to come from the right-hand side of the screen. Look at Collins, 55. Troy Aikman never had a chance. He's like a speed bump. He went over him so fast, it's like he wasn't even there. Now it's really critical. That end zone crowd will start yelling and screaming. It's going to be tough for these Dallas linemen to hear. This is the possession for the Dallas Cowboys in this game.
2nd and 19. Complete at about the 6-yard line. Dennis McKinnon.
Right now, priority number 1 is naturally to get a first down, but equally as important right now is to push this ball a little bit further out towards the first down markers if you can't get a first down, to allow your punter more room to kick. If they had to kick right now, Saxon would be kicking from the end line.
3rd and 15. Flag on a play. Intercepted by Daryl Green. Touchdown, Washington. But there is a flag. Signal is for a touchdown. The penalty appears to be against Dallas, perhaps a face mask.
Either way it goes, if this is a holding penalty against Dallas, either way it would have been points for the Washington Redskins. Because if an offensive lineman is caught holding while the quarterback's in the end zone, that's an automatic safety. So if Green would have dropped that pass, Dallas would have still gotten 2 points.
An 18-yard interception and return for the touchdown by Daryl Green. Low Miller with the point after. And it's good. So we have the first touchdown of the afternoon. And Washington boosts this lead to 19-6. Well,
We talked about it, seemed like just only seconds before. Dallas could not afford to make a bonehead mistake and put themselves in a bad position. They now need 2 touchdowns to score. Aikman's getting good protection, gets the ball off. Great read by Daryl Green. Jumps right in front of Dixon right there. Now watch this return. Now he becomes a receiver. I'm sorry, that was Kelvin Martin, number 83, that was going to catch the ball. Now he's a running back. Now he's a wide receiver. And Daryl Grant, look at his escort. Now, is that an escort or what?
Well, even with the 4.2 speed of Alexander Wright and the world-class speed of Dennis McKinnon, fastest man on the field is that man there, Daryl Green.
Let's watch this run back one more time and just showcase how well Daryl Green runs with the ball. Kelvin Martin doesn't get a chance to get after him. Either does Emmitt Smith. An offensive lineman isn't going to get him. And right, he's got an all-terrain vehicle, number 77, Daryl Grant, leading him into the end zone.
Low Miller. From the 6, James Dixon. Trying to turn the corner. And Mayhew pulls him down at about the 23. So, Randy, you played the part of prophet, saying that Aikman and company down deep in their own territory in the last possession was indeed a critical one.
Human beings, being as they usually are, do not learn things without making mistakes. Well, Dallas has made 2 mistakes, and you can see from that the result of the mistakes. I mean, Aikman, I believe, is going to be a quality quarterback in the NFL, but I guess it's these tests by fire that really are going to harden him against what's to come in his career.
1st and 10 from the 22. Aikman with all kinds of time, complete to Alonzo Highsmith across the 25. Call it a 3-yard pickup. Alvin Walton on the tackle. Daryl Green obviously loves to play against the Cowboys as well, being from Texas himself. His first interception return for a touchdown came against the Cowboys, as does his second here today.
And all the blame for that pass and that touchdown does not go to Troy Aikman. You've got to give an awful lot of credit to Daryl Green. That was a fine play. It was more of a fine play than a bad pass.
2nd and 6 from the 25. Complete to AWOL. Well, Greg is obviously aware we've got a good game here, but let's get an update on the rest of the NFL with Greg Gumbel.
JV, look at what just happened at Soldier Field in Chicago. From 17 yards out, Wade Wilson finds Hassan Jones all alone in the end zone. And with the extra point, the Vikings have tied the Bears with 1:55 to play in the game. Back to JB at RFK.
All right, Greg. Well, Hassan Jones wants to be known as someone other than the other guy playing alongside of Anthony Carter. They call him Paul Mahler for his great hands, and he certainly showed him on that highlight.
It's a combination of great hands and very, very soft hands in his ability to catch the ball. And you see right there that AWOL came up just short of the first down on that last catch before he went away.
To an eligible position.
And number 66 for Dallas is Kevin Gogan. As you heard the official indicate, comes in as an eligible receiver.
And Jimmy Johnson told us to rest assured there are no plays in the offense to throw a pass to Mr. Gogan. He'll be in short yardage and goal line, and this is very, very short yardage.
So you don't think Washington will be fooled? First down as Emmitt Smith picks up 5 yards on the play. Run out of bounds by Daryl Green. So Emmitt Smith certainly putting up far better numbers today as you take a look at the Giants on top of Miami. Don Shula trying to get his team better against NFC competition. Saw Greg Gumbel show you the highlights on that Minnesota-Chicago game in New Orleans. Angling for their first victory of the year, Cincinnati all over top of New England. Right here in Washington, it's a 19-6 Skins lead. 1st and 10 for Dallas from its own 37. Aikman complete across the middle to Emmitt Smith. 3-yard pickup will bring up a 2nd and 7. Andre Collins on the stop. Boy, Andre Collins is really playing himself a fine ball game. Monty Coleman said he really likes the youngster from Penn State. Not only is he talented, but he listens to constructive criticism.
Exactly. You know, the Penn State linebackers get this kind of stamp on them. Automatically, you're a great linebacker. Automatically, you're like a 4.0 college student, a very cerebral guy. He says this guy wants to learn. He takes criticism, but equally as important, he's very, very tough.
Aikman flushed out. And Tracy Rocker runs him out of bounds. Doubleheader Sunday here on CBS. Coming up next, most of you will see the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the LA Rams, while others will see the defense of Atlanta take on the best offense in the NFL, the San Francisco 49ers.
And I can tell you from personal experience, James, Atlanta Falcons are awfully tough in Candlestick Park against the 49ers. They seem more often than not to come in there more fired up when they play in San Francisco than when they play at home. And you know Jerry Glanville will have those guys jumping and bumping and spearing in piles.
3rd and 9. Wilbur Marshall, nearly a sack. Charles Mann gets the sack. Seven-yard loss on the play.
The critical thing
and
there
John Giesick, Randy, getting up very slow, holding that right arm of his, and again, he replaced the injured Crawford Kerr.
The critical thing there for Aikman is when he is flushed out of the pocket by Wilbur Marshall coming up right here, he has to go to his left. You'll see Marshall 58 missed the sack. See, now Aikman going to his left does not have the ability as a right-handed quarterback to get an effective pass off. He has to completely turn to get the ball off, and Mann never gave him the time and got him for the sack.
Saxon. Stanley back to receive. Flag on a play. And the ball came loose. Is it a live ball? Referee whistles the ball dead. A 44-yard punt, 6-yard return. And there is a flag on the play.
Holding 27 on the receivers after the ball was kicked. Post-possession foul, receivers keep the ball.
That's Brad Edwards. And as you heard Bob McElwee tell you, it'll still be Redskins ball when we come back.
And there's Troy Aikman being checked over by the Dallas trainer saying, "You sure you're okay? Here's a little smelling salts."
Well, but Troy Aikman had a long day being sacked 7 times, and wouldn't it be ironic with Steve Walsh active for today if he got into the game, and he acknowledged as much, Steve Walsh.
Well, you asked him yesterday, James, said, how weird would it be if you had to play in this game if Troy got hurt? And Steve said, very, very weird.
Sanders in motion on 1st and 10 from the Washington 18. Bynum across the 20 to about the 21. Call it a 3-yard run.
But going back to that Steve Walsh situation with Troy Aikman at quarterback, you know, I firmly believe, regardless of what, you know, the owner Jerry Jones said on the NFL Today earlier today, I believe if you want to get a picture of Steve Walsh in a Dallas Cowboys uniform, you better get it on your VCR today, or you better get a snapshot of him today, because you aren't going to have many more chances to see him in that uniform.
Check his briefcase on the plane ride home. He'll be reviewing that New Orleans Saints press guide I gave him.
But a quality guy, very, very composed, and they do have 2 legitimate star quarterbacks here in Dallas.
2nd and 7. 2 tight ends. Bynum running hard. Dragged down by Jack Del Rio after a gain of 4. So Ernest Bynum, when Coach Joe Gibbs said, gives him the total package. Good blocker, runs well, and catches well.
And this is the kind of position in a ball game where the Washington Redskins in the past have been notorious for being able to just stifle an opposing team. They've got the running game. They've got the big physical offensive line. Their mission right here is not so much points. Their mission is first down, keep the ball inbounds, and let this clock keep running.
And Dallas to pick up some more yards, only 17 yards in the second half.
In one possession, they had -16.
Bynum. Read well that time by Jimmy Jones, the rookie out of Miami, of Florida.
That was kind of an early or late birthday present for Jimmy Jones. He was getting snuffed pretty good by the right guard, Mark Schlereth of the right guard for the Washington Redskins. He kind of spun out of the thing and just got hit right in the teeth. I mean, Schlereth had him blocked really well. He spun out of it right into the arms of his running back.
Ralph Morshienko. And Harris takes it at the 38. Flag on the play. And Harris turns the corner and still in bounds.
That one's going to be coming back, though, James.
All that effort. A 28-yard return. A 38-yard punt. And it looks like it will be coming back, as Randy mentioned.
Illegal block in the back. Number 45 on the receivers. On the return. 10 yards. First down. Timeout.
The timeout on the field of play. Washington on top. 19-6.
The Queen of Mean, starring Suzanne Plachette.
First and 10, ball at the 29 of Dallas. 7:37 remaining in the game. Sack. Flag on the play. Daryl Green got there. Let's see if they'll credit it to him. That'll be the 8th sack of the afternoon if it holds. It does, and the hold goes against Dallas. So World Grant in there for the sack.
No, it's actually an illegal use of the hands, JB, which is usually up in the face. And here we'll show Daryl Grant, number 77, working against Gogan, number 66. You couldn't see it there, but that left hand initially got right into Daryl Grant's face. You know, one thing we haven't talked about yet, James, there's a 40-yard differential in possessions. Dallas could have had the ball on the 32-yard line of the Washington Redskins. They had to settle for having it on their own 28. What do? They follow it right up with a sack, and they immediately lose another 8 yards.
And deeper on second down, 2nd and 19 now. Aikman back to pass. Man pressing. Complete to Alexander Wright near the first down marker. So Aikman and Wright make up all of the 19 yards plus. Looks to be enough for the first down, and it is.
Now this is a designed rollout by Aikman coming to his left. Look at man 71. Watch the shot Aikman takes here right at the end. Put him down on his back. The shot was delivered by Andre Collins, number 55, but it was a very nice play. I'm sorry, it was Wilbur Marshall, number 58, that hits him right in the chin.
And that from a man who understands the martial arts all too well, a black belt indeed, Wilbur Marshall. First and 10 from the 40. And Aikman again under pressure, having to get rid of it. Incomplete.
I'd like to go back to that hit delivered by Wilbur Marshall. That is the kind of hit that could be deemed blatant. That is not an accidental blow that was struck by Wilbur Marshall to Troy Aikman's head. He looked like he actually delivered the front of his head into Troy Aikman's helmet. And if a referee was to pick that up, not only could that be a blatant penalty, that could also be reasons for being delivered out of the game. See, that was not an accidental hit by Wilbur Marshall. He put his head down and intentionally drilled his helmet right into Aikman's face.
2nd and 10. Cowboys from their own 40. 6:22 remaining in the game. Complete to Martin, who has to come back. Tries to hurdle Alvin Walton, and Walton. Good arm whip that time, limiting them to only a 1-yard gain. San Diego looking for its first victory. Dan Henning, formerly coach here with the Washington Redskins, assistant to Joe Gibbs.
So the New York Mets trying to keep pace with the Pittsburgh Pirates, up 1-0 in their game, and Pittsburgh maintains their 6-2 lead. 2.5-game lead, matter of fact, in that NL East.
3rd and 9 right here at RFK. Dime defensive package in for the Skins. 6 BBs. Blitz. Bowles. Not enough as it's thrown complete to Alexander Wright. Now, Alexander Wright although about a half a yard shy of the first down marker, ought to be feeling a lot better. This game represents the first time that he's caught passes this year.
Exactly. His confidence has got to be boosted incredibly, besides the fact that this might be the first time in Alexander Wright's career playing football that he's the second fastest man on the field, because Daryl Green, number 28, is the recognized fastest man in football. Mayhew delivers a good blow, but it was good concentration by 81 Wright for the catch.
4th and 1. 2 catches on the afternoon for Alexander Wright, whose confidence had been shaken badly. Novacek and Awalt, 2 tight ends.
Whatever chance they have right here for the Cowboys.
Smith gets the first down, +3.
It's a good job by the front line of the Dallas Cowboys right here. Watch the interior line. Daryl Grant is sealed off. And just a nice job by the whole guys up there. Tony Slayton, number 65, Stepnoski, 53. Got Gogan, number 66, in there at left guard for an injured John Giesick.
On first down, Aikman throws it complete to Novacek. And Randy, this game had been a battle of field goal kickers up until the first touchdown of the game, scored on an interception return by Washington's Daryl Green. And that accounts for the only touchdown in the afternoon of Washington. They lead at 19-6 with 4:10 remaining in the contest. Second and 1 for the Cowboys at the 39 of Washington.
Incredibly, Dallas is not out of this game. They've made a lot of mistakes, but if they can score here, they're still a factor.
Complete for the first down, Kelvin Martin. Inside the 25. Let's check back in New York with Greg Gumbel.
Hey, JB, look at what just happened at Soldier Field. With time winding down, Kevin Butler from 52 yards out. It's good. And the Bears win it 19-16, JB.
All right, Greg, and back here, Dallas is driving down inside deep in Redskins territory. Complete that pass from Aikman to Novacek, and the ball is marked at the 11 of Washington. 3:28 remaining. Washington leading 19-6.
Dallas in the hurry-up offense for the last 2 or 3 snaps.
1st and 10. Aikman with time to Darrell Johnston, complete inside the 5.
The Dallas offense showing good composure, and Troy Aikman's trying to find an official right now so he can call a timeout.
And he finally finds one as Dallas calls timeout with 3:07 remaining. And Aikman looking poised, and Randy, you said a touchdown here in Dallas, still very much in the thick of things.
I very much think so. 3 minutes and 7 seconds to go. They're down by 13 points. A touchdown here puts them within 6 and keeps them in the ball game. I think right now, if I'm on that Dallas sideline, I'm getting that whole entire Dallas defense together and saying, look, guys, we need either a quick stuff job or we need a turnover. You got to be going for the ball.
At the conclusion of this game here, we'll be bringing you the second half of our doubleheader here on CBS. Most of you will see Philadelphia, the Eagles, taking on the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams, many people consider to be the second best team in all of football to the 49ers. Buddy Ryan's Eagles trying to get in the win column. Of course, others will see Atlanta taking on San Francisco. Now, primetime, Deion Sanders, the cornerback for Atlanta. A lot of talk. This is an opportunity for him to show whether or not he's got what it takes against the 49ers.
Exactly. He's been a little dinged. He's been a little hurt with a bum knee, and he's got a chance to show really what he's got with wide receivers John Taylor and Jerry Rice for the Niners.
And what we've got here at RFK Stadium is a good ball game. Washington on top, 19-6, but the Cowboys at the 2 of Washington. 2nd and 1. 3:07 remaining in the game.
Give it to Emmitt Smith.
It is Emmitt Smith. Touchdown, Dallas. So Emmitt Smith, with all kinds of daylight, gives Dallas his first touchdown of the afternoon, and we got a closer ball game.
Good job here by Tune and the whole left side, number 71, and the whole left side of the Dallas offense. Really nice job by one guy, Alonzo Highsmith, number 32, gets a great block on Wilbur Marshall, puts him on the ground, and there's nobody around that corner for Emmitt Smith to even have to avoid.
First career touchdown for Emmitt Smith. And Willis with the point after. And we also must give some credit to Emmitt Smith scoring his first NFL touchdown to Alonzo Highsmith, whom Jimmy Johnson says is one of the best blocking fullbacks around.
And you'll see there's Highsmith sitting right next to Emmitt Smith on the sideline, and it was a great job by Alonzo Highsmith. But here's the group right here that the pressure is on. We were looking at the Dallas defense and special teams. That right there is the kickoff team for the Dallas Cowboys. They're telling them, look, boys, no big plays, no big mistakes. Don't do anything hot dog. Don't get out of your lanes and allow Washington to make a big play. Remember, we're watching the Washington Redskins, a team that for decades has been the recognized leaders, at least one or two in the league, it seems like, in special teams and making big special teams plays.
We'll talk about a big play. Perhaps something for Washington to keep in mind is what Dallas tried earlier, the onside kick.
Well, I believe an onside kick at this point would go way past gutsy.
Well, they may be capable of it. Critical stats here. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. 3:08 remaining in the contest. Washington on top, 19-13. And Willis, short from the 8. Joe Howard. He's dangerous. Flags on the play as Joe Howard gets it across the 25. As Bob McElwee has some housekeeping to do here. And this goes against Washington.
This will move Washington back into some...
84 during the return.
That's Gary Clark.
That'll move Washington back into some really, really critical areas. They now have to be very, very conservative. They have to run the ball. They can't make a mistake. Keep in mind now, folks, we're also in the last 5 minutes of the second half, so the clock will always stop when the ball goes out of bounds and on an incompletion.
And a very crucial game situation for Stan Humphries, who again, as I mentioned, has played in only 2 regular season games. Last year, he finished up games against the Los Angeles Raiders and the Seattle Seahawks. And Humphries, of course, in the game now because of the injury in the first half to Mark Rypien, severely sprained knee. 1st and 10, ball from the 6 of Washington. Humphries complete to Ricky Sanders. 5-yard pass play will bring up 2nd and 5.
I'll be honest, I'm a little shocked that Washington is coming out gunning the ball. They've got a big physical offensive line. They've got some big, strong running backs, led by Gerald Ricks, number 37. Give him the ball. Run some of this clock out. No, they throw it out in the flat. Effective pass, almost bounced onto the ground, and actually a good catch.
Very close to a play that was reviewed earlier of Washington's. That was a trap. There's Mark Rypien in the street clothes there, the gray top shirt. And that's Stan Humphries, 2nd-year quarterback out of Northeast Louisiana. 2nd and 5. Here comes Riggs. And the big back takes it about 3 yards. And there's a timeout on the field. We're at the 2-minute mark of this contest. Washington nursing a 6-point lead. Those are the numbers. Dallas trailing by 6. 4th quarter action, 2 minutes remaining. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. And the Cowboys are looking for their 3rd consecutive victory here at RFK. It's 3rd and 2. Ball at the 14.
And Washington has only Donnie Warren in at tight end. I think this has got to be a run.
Humphries back to pass, under pressure, drop at the 1. Give the credit to Ken Norton. Good speed and quickness.
Is that a big play by the defense and a questionable call by the offense, or what?
So Washington, with Ralph Moisienko having to boot it from his own end zone.
3rd and 2, late in the 4th quarter. You're up by 6. You got a big physical offensive line. You run, right? Norton, 51, shoots right up the middle as Humphries drops back to pass. He never had a chance. Stubbs is on him. Norton's on him. Stubbs, number 96, jumps up and celebrates. This is the toughest punt there is for a kicker. He's got less than the required area. The most important thing right now that punter is thinking about is the snap. It is critical that that snap be right on his waist, because he'll only have 2 steps to kick this ball, and Dallas will be on him trying to set a return up.
1:56 remaining. Ball on the 2 of Washington. And Mojo decides to take the safety, an intentional safety on the part of Ralph Moisienko. So Joe Gibbs playing the safe route.
You got to like that as a play, because Joe Gibbs figures, why kick him the ball and give him the ball probably on the 30-yard line, 30, 35-yard line, and give them a chance for a touchdown to beat you. You take the safety, you walk out of the end zone, you get to punt the ball on the safety from the 20-yard line, and then they still have to get a touchdown to beat you, and they have much further to have to go. And there you see Mojo just kind of dancing around. Ken Norton, number 51, gets in his face, and he decides, oh, it's a linebacker. I'm getting out of the end zone.
Now, many of the coaches may say, of course, an obvious one, but Red Auerbach used to talk about coaches and the mindset, like Joe Gibbs here, not losing the feel of the game, not letting the emotions get you carried away, stay with it cerebrally, and indeed he did.
Joe Gibbs is a cool, calm customer. Obviously, he's won 2 Super Bowls. And right now you're going to see the Washington Redskins, as is the rules, they get a free kick from their own 20-yard line. They'll be punting to what is normally the kickoff return team for the Dallas Cowboys. And a lot of teams like to use a punter in this situation, because a punter not only can get the ball down the field, a punter is able to hang the ball a lot higher and enable his coverage people to get down there and be more effective on the coverage.
So hang time will be important here. Moisienko, not a good kick at all, but it gets past. It gets past Rod Harris. We've got a good one. 19-15. Skins on top. 1:51 remaining. The Cowboys will take over at their own 30.
My question is, do the Washington Redskins go into a prevent defense, back up, and not want to give away the big play and the big points, or do they continue attacking Troy Aikman? They've sacked him 8 times. I think they got to keep going at the quarterback. You get the head, the body dies.
Complete to Novacek. Gain of 8 on the play. Clock running, under 1:40 to play. Todd Bowles on the stop.
There seems to be no sense of urgency, no sense of panic on the Dallas Cowboys. They seem very cool to this point.
2nd and 2. Going for Novacek again, incomplete. 1:20 remaining.
This is a bit of a gamble by Troy Aikman throwing the ball the way he did, because this ball will just get over the hands of a leaping Marshall, number 58, just hits him on the, even if the ball had gotten there perfectly, I don't think the way he was positioned on the sideline, he'd have been able to get 2 feet in and make it a legal possession.
And the pressure team that time from Marcus Cook. 3rd and 1. Incomplete. Intended receiver was James Dixon.
That's a misread.
Who obviously
right
had
there.
a different route in mind.
That's a misread. The quarterback read one coverage, threw the ball to the spot he thought, and the wide receiver right there, Dixon, read it another and was running up the field on sort of just an outside little fade.
Brings up a 4th down.
would appear to pass it. Smith or Highsmith are out of the game. Johnson's in at fullback.
Incomplete. Flag on a play. Ryan Davis may be the guilty one here. Trying to defend the fleet-footed Dennis McKinnon.
Defense, first down.
Pass interference against Davis. Watch this. There was never a chance until the very last second of a completion. It looks from this angle that he had his right hand all over McKinnon. Now he's bumping him with the body. He's bumping him with his body, and it was a catchable pass. That's the key. He was bumping him with the body. That ball could have been caught by Dennis McKinnon, number 85.
First and 10. Ball at the 40 of Washington. 1:13 remaining. Intercepted. Todd Bowles has only Aikman to beat.
You hear it time and time again. The free safety's job as a center fielder. Todd Bowles is number 23 in the left high end of your screen there. He reads those eyes of the quarterback the whole way and steps right in front of that pass. I don't even know if Aikman ever saw him, but one thing Aikman did do a good job of showing a little pride and running him out of bounds and putting him on the ground and not enabling Bowles to score.
Young man from Temple University who was not drafted out of college. And Troy Aikman. Very obvious thoughts there. Well, Stan Humphries goes into the win the game position as Dallas uses its final timeout with 59 seconds remaining. And don't forget, coming up next here on CBS, Philadelphia taking on the Rams, while others will see Atlanta taking on San Francisco. That'll be coming up at the conclusion of this game here.
James, I think today we saw the Dallas Cowboys make just enough mistakes to get beat. I mean, they got 8-9 sacks against Troy Aikman. We got a couple of key interceptions, one for a touchdown, one for a long run back in a key critical area. But I think Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones have got this organization and this team going on the right track. They've got some stability now with some veterans like Lockhart and Danny Stubbs. I think that quarterback you saw right there, Troy Aikman, is going to be a great one. And with the personnel on those draft picks, this team is starting to stockpile up. You look down the road to the 1993s and the 1994s, I believe this Dallas Cowboy team is going to be one of your top teams in the NFC.
And Humphries, in a second, win the game move. Well, we talked with Jerry Jones before the game, and Randy, you asking, is it a little easier to bear with things having played football yourself, as he did at Arkansas with Jimmy Johnson? And his answer was?
Well, he just said the easiest thing for me is to be able to look out there and see that maybe a coverage isn't executed quite right. And I can see that a receiver should have been dragging through an area to let another receiver open up. So I'm a little bit more tolerant. I'm a little bit more understanding about football. Washington's going to run down this ball one more time, and that'll be it.
So Joe Gibbs, who had indicated starting 2-0 in the division was all too important, knocks off Jimmy Johnson's Cowboys by the slimmest of margins. And Joe Gibbs, who coached at Arkansas with Jimmy Johnson, goes over and shakes hands. So for Randy Cross, this is James Brown saying so long from RFK Stadium, where the final score is Washington 19, Dallas 15. Don't forget, coming up next, the second game of our doubleheader. You'll see either Buddy Ryan's struggling Eagles at 0-2 versus the Rams, or the 49ers hosting Atlanta's ferocious Falcons. That's coming next right here on CBS. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.